down Main, it's a clear night. Screens glowing blue, got the facts in my headlights. Commonwealth tripping, but the truth stay calm. Morrissey and Lally, I'ma read them like Psalms. KP throwing shade from a broke down porch, but the files in my lap like a flame to a torch. I don't raise my voice, I just let the game speak. Steady with the grind while the crooked run weak. We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks. They can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just ride a slow grind. Midnight oil burning, pen hit the pad slow. Every word cut clean like the rims on the 6-4. From Boston to Brockton, the whispers all hum. Turtleboys riding in the reckoning gon' come. Lally in the back room, Morrissey on the phone. Trying to twist the narrative, but they can't postpone. I'm just sipping on the facts while the city play pretend. Truth got no curfew, I'ma run it to the end. See, this ain't about fame, this about that long game. You can duck, you can weave, but the truth still call your name. We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks. They can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just riding slow, gliding. We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks. They can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just riding slow, guys. We just call down to the city blocks. We just riding slow, guys.
My name's Aidan Kearney,
known online as
Turtleboy, and is a senior editor for
TBDailyNews.com.
They call me Dr. Turtleboy.
It's my preferred pronoun.
Daddy.
What's up, Daddy?
Journalism Jesus.
Timothy Kearney.
The one and only Turtleboy.
Turtleboy.
What's up, Slick?
The doctor is here.
This guy's a bad motherfucker.
That's quite the intro.
I've broken a lot of major stories. I've been doing it for about 11 years. I used to be a high school teacher.
Turtleboy has changed a lot over the years. I was once a blogger, but now I'm much more accurately known as an award-winning journalist, a satirist, and an activist. Boom!
They're screaming your name here.
You're the crowd daddy.
Crazy.
People either love me or hate me.
Listen, Turtle, all right?
But either way, they're watching.
Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
Stop it. I'm never gonna stop. This fight's just getting started. Now let's get this party started.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. How's everyone doing tonight? Good, excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aidan Kearney. I have a little bit of a cold here, you know. I'm getting by. Hold on, what this is? Hold on. Oh. Okay. Anyway, I apologize. So, welcome. I got a little cold here. It's like the cold from hell. It just won't go away. I got it like, I think the 23rd. And, you're hoping it comes and goes. No, it lingers. It's just not going anywhere. And hanging out with people who have colds too doesn't help. Everybody just gets one. Sucks. But hopefully it goes away soon. Anyway, this is our last show of the new year, ladies and gentlemen. Last show of 2025, or of the old year, rather, before the new year. Next time we'll see you will be the new year. My name is Aidan Kearney. You can call me a variety of nicknames if you'd like, including A. Timothy Kearney. That's my true crime name. You can call me Journalism Jesus. That's my spiritual name. You can call me Uncle Turtleboy. That's my old school name. You can call me Turtleboy if you'd like. A lot of people just call me Turtleboy. I prefer Dr. Turtleboy because if Judd Welch is a doctor, then I'm definitely a doctor too. You could call me, Daddy if you'd like. For some people that might be weird. For others it might be fun, playful, flirtatious, even sexy, borderline sexy. You can call me different, derivatives of Daddy, up to including Crowd Daddy, Theater Daddy, Brow Daddy, Daytime Daddy, and of course Fridge Daddy, Captain of the Fridges. So I don't care what you call me, Mr. Media, Saint Turtle Boy, whatever you want to call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp. And make sure you smash that subscribe button for me, will you? Because you can hit the notification bell, hook it up. We got to get back up to 165,000. We dropped just below. Let's see. Let's see where we're at now. 165,943. Okay, so we got 57 more. I bet you 57 people watching right now haven't hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button for me. So anyway, yeah, Drama Free Daddy, you can call me. I think how long am I drama free for now? I feel like it's been since like whatever that Bills weekend was. That was like the drama free weekend. That was like the end of it. And so I think they were looking at like 2.5 weeks now. And it's tempting. People are like, how's that going? Do you ever feel, do you ever want to relapse? Oh, yeah. Have you seen what's been going on the Twitwat? It's been, and all I can keep saying is, not today, Satan. Not today. Every time, and I have my sponsor, Emily C., and others out there will remind me of how good I'm doing. But it's tempting. They're like really tempting you with some shit. You're like, wow, that's bait. That's bait right there. They're trying this on purpose. All of a sudden, like a lot of people are like, who normally wouldn't be so bold or getting real bold. And you're like, oh, I see what you're doing there. Not today, Satan. Not today, Satan. Not going to happen. And it feels good. How does it feel? It feels good. And you know what's funny about it is it actually angers people more than when I was involved in drama. Like when I'm not involved in drama or when I'm being like Prozac Turtleboy kind of like, I'm out here being like, that's sweet or like, that's awesome to everything. Like, that's really cool. Or like everybody just get along, they get so mad. They get so mad because it's not what they want. They want you to be like, they want you to freak out. And it's like, oh, were you guys just pressing my buttons the whole time? Is that what this is for? Looking for content? Not today, Satan. Because as you guys can see here, we haven't even started the show. The show's barely started. We're still on intros here. We got 3,000 live people already. All right, that's what we do here on TV Daily News that no one else could do. No one else could do. Oh, Turtleboy's dying out. Oh, Turtleboy he's lost his touch. He's not writing any big stories anymore. People are watching. People are still watching, baby. And they're going to keep watching because I'm going to entertain. And that's what I do here. And people like the positivity. And, it is difficult at times because it's like, to wake up every day and you're just like, what fucking ball of shit is going to get dropped on me today? It's hard to like focus and like do your job and write stories and stuff like that when you're like, what fucking world of shit is going to fall in my lap today? You know what I mean? But all you can do is just one day at a time. One day at a time. And like, you just have to remind yourself that like, this is going to end. This is all going to end. Think of where we're going to be a year from now, 1 year from now. All right. And I don't care what people are like. Oh, like some people are messaging me. They're being like, oh, you got to see what this person's saying. They're going at you hard. They're saying this, this, and this. I go, exactly. Because they want a reaction. Not today, Satan. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. First of all, I'm too big for you. Like, let's be honest. Like, me even interacting with smaller potato content creators and people like that is a win for them. Like, me even recognizing their existence and even like making it seem like, because they're watching me right now. Obviously, everybody watches me. Duh. They can. Oh, no. They all. What do they always say? Oh, we just get sent the clips. Sure you do. Just you're right. Sure you do. So they just get sent the clips. But some people message me today like, oh, did you hear what so and so said? Nope. I can imagine. I bet you they're big mad. I bet you they're big mad by the positivity because that really makes them mad, And it's just crazy how being positive actually makes people more upset. And that's how you know you're winning. That's how you know you're winning because you've taken that power away from them. They can't make you mad. They can't do it, no matter how hard they try. And you're like, you know what? I could respond to you, but the thing about you is you're a nobody. You don't make shit. You don't create, like, you weren't around from the beginning of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, I'm happy to be here. I'm always going to be here. No one's ever going to forget how this whole thing fucking started, how this whole thing ended, and how we got here. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, so bumps in the road afterwards for sure. But here we are. We've all said some shit. You know what I mean? And again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. All right. I'm Team Karen Reed. Always have been. Always will be. I'm also Team Turtleboy, but I'm also Team Karen Reed. Okay. The two are not mutually exclusive. It's actually a combined thing, right? We're fighting the same common enemy. I don't know if you guys know that. And we have a big hearing coming up on January 23rd. And a lot of people don't want that to happen. A lot of people don't want that hearing to happen, but it's going to happen. And we have Judge Palazos. I don't even know. I should learn that because he actually learned and asked my name at the first hearing. And I appreciate that because Cosgrove still hasn't learned my name. And so we have a big hearing coming up in Suffolk Superior Court. I wish it was in Dedham Superior Court, but it's in Suffolk Superior Court in Boston, January 23rd, 2 p.m. I hope to see a lot of you guys there. It's going to be interesting. I've never been in this courtroom before. And yeah, it's going to be dope, man. It's going to be, remember, motion to recuse Robert Cosgrove is going to be coming up. Now, we are working on right now, if you guys forget where we're at, we are working on right now our response to Robert Cosgrove's response, which he passed in like 3 weeks late. Remember that before the break? It was due like what, November 17th or something like that. He just passed it in whenever he felt like it. And like the day before the hearing, I think he passed it in. So anyway, and so he passed in his response about why he shouldn't be recused. And I think his main argument was that, like, Lindsay Gattani is not a witness for the Commonwealth in the Canton case, in the McAlberts case. Except she was. They made her a witness in the Canton case. So what up with that? And regardless, right, is that, and we're going to go over the whole motion when it's written, but regardless of whether or not they suddenly decide that she's a witness for them or not, she's certainly a witness because she's making some pretty wild accusations, right? Because she basically was like behind enemy lines for what, 2 years there? A year and a half, however long that was before things went south. So she's got all sorts of intel. You know what I mean? She's got all sorts of intel on these people and like things that they've done and like evidence that they're like not actually scared of me, which is kind of a big thing. They're not actually intimidated because I'm charged with witness intimidation. So like, even if they're arguing that she is not a witness for the Commonwealth, well, the Commonwealth's job is still to seek truth and justice, right? So like, if she's got something to say, they should want to hear from her. And the fact of the matter is she's suing Cosgrove, right? And so Cosgrove, it's in his best interest to discredit her, period. That's his number one goal, is to discredit her. But his goal as a prosecutor is to what? Seek justice, right? So those two things conflict. What if seeking justice from her, what if seeking justice from the case conflicts with trying to make her uncredible? You know what I mean? Trying to discredit her. I don't know. I don't see how we can continue to prosecute this. And the question is why? Like, why is he so... He gave up her case real quick. And he also said if this one fails, forget about the window intimidation. You forget about that one. You could just, I won't even bother with that one. Why is he so willing to give that one up? I thought that was witness intimidation. I thought Chris and Colin Albert were sitting at home watching me and Will do T-Rex arms, shitting in their pants. Oh my God, I'm so intimidated by this guy. Oh, I'm so intimidated by, the Turtleboy. I think we just had this. Remember that? I still can't believe this. Can we watch this video again? Hold on. That's not it. Hold on. This elite, speaking of wiretapped, right? Everybody's favorite word. Again, here we go. Let's play this. Audio. Sorry. Here we go. Remember, this is a felony right here. 10 years in jail. 20 years in jail, actually. Just all I'm doing is looking at a camera.
Wait, come here. You gotta do the where I
felony.
Why did you do that, Chris? Chris, why did you tell the jury that you got home at 12:15?
I don't know why she's filming. I don't know.
Why did you say that you went upstairs and that there were 15 minutes before it goes off? And then Colin came out. It seems Colin didn't make it home until at least 12:45. It was Colin, Chris. I just want to know. I mean you don't want to. I just want to know why it took Colin so long to get to your house. Why, Chris? Please tell me why. Okay, that's all I want to know. Colin did it. You can tell me, Chris. You can tell me. I know you didn't do it. But I don't want to scare you, okay? Tell Jill that she can answer herself, too.
Okay, everyone be nice.
Yeah.
Everyone be nice. Okay.
I'm gonna send you that.
What is happening? Is that the whole video? Hold on.
I love that.
All right. So hold on. So, like, first of all, I didn't think I was being audio recorded. I thought that like audio record people that just walk by. It's wiretapping. So I'm like everybody that walks by there, they're with the things they say are being recorded. Like Chris Alberts can just listen in real time. Because apparently you can just listen in on you. I was just doing a little bit for my friends there. Like I was just doing first of all, I don't remember it. Okay. I feel like that's kind of important. I woke up the next day. It was a rough morning. I had 2 shoes on there, as you saw, luckily. The morning I had 1. And so I was like, it was a rough night. And then you wake up in the morning and then you go to court. All right. And I remember getting to the courthouse and it was around like noon. And I go on Twitter and I see that like there's people are talking about, I got charged with more crimes. I'm like, what? Charged with more crimes? Where? Where did I get charged? Canton. What happened? Oh, right. We went to Canton last night. What the hell did I do there? I honestly forgot. I had no idea what happened. No, this didn't even cross my mind. Window intimidation. I'm like, what did I do? Did I get lippy at the hillside? Like, what happened? And then it's like, oh, yeah, I stood in front of a window. And then I wasn't even saying anything. First, I just wandered out. And like, I just saw a blinking light. I stared at it. And then I started, like, Will came over and did the T-Rex things. And I'm like, I guess I'll just do a routine here. And then we did a routine. Comedy routine. We had the ladies laughing. Nan Gallagher thought it was pretty funny. She was filming it. And Lauren was laughing. And, we had a good time. And then apparently that was a felony. Just for me. No one else. Just for me. Nor should it be for anyone else. But, like, just for me. We'll grab assing. So Cosgrove says he's not going to prosecute that case if he gets kicked off the other case. Why? Is that a case not legit or something like that? I don't know. And why does he want to stay on this one so bad? This makes no sense. Makes no sense. So anyway, we'll see. Also, like, the state police themselves should be conflicted off my case. Everything's conflicted in my case. None of these people should be involved. Okay. So anyway, we'll get to all that at another time. And yeah, I almost went to Canton yesterday. Like, so I, been hanging out in the area more often in Karen Reed's old hometown. And I'm like, so where do you want to go? And so we one of the places we thought about going was there's a brewery in Canton. Well, I almost went to that yesterday, but I'm like, you know what? I heard it was a good time. I'd never heard of it before, but I was told it was a good time, and I just didn't go because I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay out of Canton for a while. It's like they showed me where the brewery was, and it's right next to the hillside. I'm like, that's way too close to the hillside. That's like Townie Central. I'm not going anywhere near the hillside, anywhere near D&E Pizza. I might go to Top Flight Golf. Trillium. That was the place. That was the place we almost went to, Trillium. And I didn't end up going there. We went to this place in Wrentham instead, which was really cool. The Gavel, really nice place. And let me tell you, man, Wrentham is Norfolk County. So anytime you go out in Norfolk County, you're going to see a lot of people. You meet a lot of people. And, like, we had a nice couple sat down next to us, and they were like, very big fans of the Karen Reed trial and all that. And they weren't talking to me about it at first. She goes, I know who you are. And I'm like, oh, nice to meet you, And so I went to the bathroom, and they didn't talk to me the whole time for like the first half hour. And then when I came back, they were talking, to the person I was with, and they were like, oh, then they started opening up. But they were like, kind of like weary of, they didn't, like, a lot of people, when they see me out, they're like afraid they don't want to bother me. They're like, I don't want to bother. He's out. I don't want to bother him. I don't give a shit. I will talk shop all day, any day. Like if you see me out, just understand I'm never bored with the topic of the Karen Reed case. That's what everybody always wants to talk about. Oh my God, this thing. They want to talk about this witness. They want to talk about it. You know what I mean? And so we start talking about I don't even remember what, all about the case. And then, so paid the bill. And right after I pay it, the bartender, a girl named Reagan, great bartender, she was like, she returned the money. And she's like, the owner said it's on the house. And I'm like, oh, where is he? Where's the owner? And thank you very much. And he's not here. He's not here? How does he know? And so the owner must have been watching a security video or something like that. And he's just like, return the dude's money. So they returned the money. He was all free. And then next thing you know, a 16-year-old girl who goes to Vogue school in Franklin came over and took a picture. Everybody's taking, it was an awesome time. I had a great time there last night in Wrentham. So good time. Love it. Love it. Anyway, so that was fun. And it was, you know what? It was a reminder that like wherever that Twitter is not real life. And even YouTube is not real life. And like, if you focus too much on the haters out there, who by the way, used to be pretty big supporters as well. And then, see opportunity to, now I'm going to turn to a hater. Okay, cool. I was just loved the positivity. There was so much positivity last night and I needed that. It was really cool. Right. And then before that was the Megyn Kelly thing. When I was driving there, the Megyn Kelly thing happened. Did I get any weird messages, MC Kazi? It's a good question. I did not. I did not get a message this time because I didn't drive. Took someone else's car. But then again, I don't know. Maybe they're just, I don't know. Maybe it's just the appeal has been lost. I don't know. So there was no crazy text this time around. That was good. I could actually have a night out in peace. And it was nice to see. The owners of the Gavel are the nice people, and the food there is excellent. I would definitely go back there. But okay, cool. All right. So what else was I talking about? All right. So if you guys want to have your messages read out loud to the class tonight, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chats. Or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. When you do that, you can pay whatever you want, say whatever you want, and I will read your messages out loud to the class, as they come in. All right, cool. All right, so let me see if we have any turtle chats thus far, shall we? All right, here we go. Patricia sends $5 and goes, what's she saying here? I love drama-free Turtleboy. Well, thank you. Congratulations on the Megyn Kelly piece. It doesn't get any bigger than that. Respect to lawyer, Jimmy's boyfriend, for giving you the props. I have a lot to say about that interview. We're going to watch the entire thing in its entirety tonight. And I have a lot to say on that. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, the meal of food was excellent. I got the shrimp tacos there. They were just the bomb. Like I can't sit and good red sangrias there. I like those. So we'll see. Okay, next. Jenna G sends $10 and goes, hey, Aidan, can you wish my husband, Jay, a huge, longtime turtle rider, a happy 50th birthday? We celebrated today the most Turtleboy way possible, a visit to Gillette Stadium. Nice. McMorgan's drive-by. Ooh, did you drive by or did you go inside? Did you see the lucky chair? Did you see it? Have they built a statue in there for me yet? I don't know. 34 Fairview sighting. Man, you got the whole Norfolk County experience. I had to shut down his request for D&E pizza real fast, though, because I'm pretty sure Jim Ferriss's BO is a biohazard even a 50-year-old immune system can't handle. We love the show. Keep fighting the fight. Free Turtleboy 2026. Well, thank you very much, Jenna G. That's it's a hell of a birthday you had there. The other Mary B sends $10 and goes, drama sobriety really looks good on you, goat. Praying that you feel better soon. We love you. I know. I hate having a cold, dude. Like, it's the worst, man. It is the absolute worst. And but it is like it's okay to be gross. That's the one good thing about having a cold is like it's excusable to be gross. Like shit's coming out of your nose. You're going they're coughing up a storm, blowing your nose everywhere. It's fucking nasty. But you're like, bro, I got a cold. You know? It's the one time when it's just socially acceptable to be fucking gross is when you have a cold. So there you go. Like I can just go like that. And like if you did that otherwise, you'd be like, that's gross. But dude, I have a cold. What am I gonna do? All right, next. Angie and the Little Potato Turtle Riders, Aria, Charity, and Caden send $5 and says, hey Turtle, thanks for the shout out to Aria Saturday night. You have now replaced calling Santa in her nightly routine. Nice. Could you please do me a favor and tell her to go to sleep? We listen to the first one at least 5 times a night, and I think this would be a good way to end the night. Go to sleep, Aria. It's way past your bedtime. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hopefully you guys have some good New Year's plans tomorrow. Last year I went out and we went out in Southie last year with Richie was there from Microdots, and who else was there? I feel like we had a crew. We had like 7 or 8 people. But we went to like I was the oldest person there, like by far. You know what I mean? The oldest person there by far. And this year, not going to go out. I'm too sick this year. Probably just going to stay in, hang out a little bit, and enjoy the new year. And, I think we did a stream last year. I jumped on someone's stream last year. I took my shirt off. That's all I remember. And Will took his shirt off too. Was that Melanie Little stream or is that somebody else's? All I know is my fucking shirt came off. I did a thing, but it was for a good cause. It was for Karen Reed. So, and we raised a bunch of money there. Now I'm not saying where I'm going because I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? But yeah. All right, cool. Hang out with us. I don't know. Should I? I don't know. All right, cool. Glare had he had to cancel his 12-hour fundraiser that he was going to do for Kelsey. He's not doing it anymore because he had some issues, I guess, with plumbing or something. I don't know. But is what it is. But all right, cool. Next, another time. I'm just glad Kelsey's out. I'm glad to hear Kelsey's been out for a week, so good for her. Hope she had a Merry Christmas. Next, Emily sends $10 and goes, so happy to see Megyn Kelly and Lawyer shout you out. You deserve it. In Trump's words, that was huge. Question, do we get a Bederow motion coming soon after the New Year's? Yes, you should get one any day now. About the response to Cosgrove's opposition to the motion to recuse. A reply brief. We have some thoughts on that. That'll be coming out soon. Next, Cora sends $5 and says, Happy New Year, Daddy. Can you give a happy birthday shout out to my son, Malachi? I apologize. Malika would be a girl, wouldn't it? Malachi. He turns 16 tomorrow. Happy. I hate to ruin your birthday there by calling you Malachi. But happy birthday, Malachi, and happy New Year's as well. Jennifer sends $50. Thanks, Jen. And says, love you, Aidan, and so proud of you. Keep winning and know that more people support you than not. I do feel that way. I believe me. I totally get that. You have to remind yourself that Twitter is not real life. And these like talking heads that it is some like I listened to one of the anti-Turtleboy spaces the other night, and it was actually really refreshing. Because you hear what these people sound like, because you see them on Twitter and they're chirping at you and whatever. And then you're like, oh, wow. Like you look at their past tweets and like, these people used to support you or whatever. And then you go back and it's like, you listen to them talk and you're like, oh my God, they're all retarded. You just picture what these people look like and what their day-to-day is like. And you're like, oh, oh yeah, I definitely don't give a flying fuck what that person thinks, because that person's not in real life. That person, I'll never meet that person. You know, they're not going to the Gavel in Wrentham. They're not going out. They're not going to see, they're not regular people. You know what I mean? I forget whose spaces it was. I listened to some anti-Turtleboy spaces the other day, and for like 30 minutes, my lost brain cells listening to it. And I was like, man, I did feel better, because I'm like, oh, I get it now. They're all just retarded. They're all retarded. Okay. And that's not drama by saying that. That's just like a good way of looking at it. You're like, I'm not going to argue with retarded people. Like, what am I going to do? So anyway, back to this. Okay. This is from Sarah. Sends $25 and says, hi, Daddy. I wanted to ask stupid April for her permission to meet you before we have our threesome. What? Wait, who? Okay. Sorry. I'm coughing. I don't know why that made me laugh. Okay. Go on. I've been watching since the Karen Reed trial and continue to watch you every day. I'm on my way to work. Keep up the good work and don't stop being hot. I'm not making this up. She actually said this. Love, your future 6 foot tall brunette, big titty wife from Texas. I've never banged anyone that tall before. That's tall. I'm not gonna lie. Because I'm 5'9". 5'8 3/4 technically, but we round up around here. So I might have to stand on my tippy toes for that. I don't know how that would work, but and stupid April's like 5 foot, so I don't know how that would work either. But nice to meet you. Thank you. Next. All right. Yeah, like when the supporters go to haters, it's just like disingenuous. You're like, when they turn so fast and they're like, actually, you're a blogger and you're this and you're bad and you're this, and you're like, yeah, but you don't believe that, because you can't believe that. Because if what you're saying now is true, that means that everything you said before was a lie, and that you're just a complete and total fraud. You're just completely disingenuous, and you will just adapt to whatever you think is socially acceptable to say at this time. You know, my permission is not necessary. That's true. Exactly. Her permission is not necessary. She lets me see other people. We're cool. All right, cool. So thank you for that one. Next one. All right. Next is stupid April. Sends $5 and goes, hey, Daddy, I wish I could give more, but my roof made a sudden departure from my home. Free Turtleboy, roofs be damned. Well, luckily for stupid April, not only do I fix fridges, I also fix roofs. So if you need any roof daddy, come on over. Let me know. Thank you. Mike Crawford sends $5. I was not expecting that. Maybe he's in the Christmas mood too. He says, I am better than you. Also, you can't say you don't want drama, but here you are causing drama like a woman. Is that the real Mike Crawford? Did he really just give me $5 and say that? I'll take it. You know, not today, Satan. Did he really just give me $5? Because that's like some Crawford would say. Again, I'll read it again. It says, I'm just so you can see I'm not lying about this, right? Where'd it go? Actually, I can't share this. Yeah, it says, Mike Crawford, I am better than you. Also, you can't say you don't want drama, but here you are causing drama like a woman. Well, okay. So first of all, I am better than you. That's pretty subjective. It's a pretty subjective term, in fairness. Like, what does that mean? What does better than mean? You know, Like, I'm sure there's many things that Mike Crawford is better than me at. Like, let's be fair. Let's be objective about this. Okay. He's wrestled. So he's probably better at wrestling. You know what I mean? Pinning and stuff like that and grabbing legs and stuff like that and getting close with men, he's better at that. He's better at growing a beard. Better at dog walking. Not even close. Not even fucking close. We're not even in the same ballpark as that. So, I mean, you got to give him credit where it's due. So I'm trying to be, positive here. Okay. And so, like, yeah, this is new and improved Turtleboy. So if this is the real Mike Crawford and he's trying to like start shit, you're like, okay, Mike, he says he's better than me, and I will give him that. At certain things, I'm certain he's better than you. I think I'm better. I think I can beat him in a 5K. Okay. I think I can beat him in a 5K. I can still run like a 20-minute 5K. Okay. I think I can outbench him. And I think I could sell out the Wilbur before him. So I think so we all have our strengths. You know what I mean? We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. All right. By the way, Mark Bederow is great. Love Mark Bederow. He's a great attorney, great guy. And, I think he's awesome. So, and he goes, also, you say you don't want drama, but here you are causing drama like a woman. I don't think I am. I disagree with that statement. Not today, Satan. Next. Lena sends $10 and goes, hiya, daddy. I was in the hospital Sunday with anaphylactic shock in the United Kingdom, wearing my Hoslang t-shirt, and the ER doctor smiled and said, I take it you like Turtleboy. No, he didn't. Did he really? In England? And I said, absolutely. And he left. And as he left, he shouted, Chris Albert killed a man. No, he did not. The doctor did not yell, Chris Albert killed him. No, he didn't. You're lying. I was actually crying with laughter. You are a legend. There's no way that a doctor in England told you Chris Albert, get out of here. I mean, why would she make that up? I guess it's true. So thank you for that one. Next. Joellen sends $50 and says, Happy New Year. I wish you lots of peace in 2026. Free Turtleboy. We are going to have lots of peace this year because my charges are going to go away in one form or another. Either Cosgrove's getting recused or the Cosgrove's getting recused, or what else could happen? The charges could be dismissed with our mega motion, or we get acquitted. Either way, we're gonna need your support. Either way, so thank you. All right, next. Next up, Nancy sends $5 and says, "You need a shot of Fireball. It will help your sickness." Yeah, will it? Will that really happen? I don't know. We'll find out. All right, cool. Let me read some Cash Apps here. Hold on. All right. Brian sends $15 and says, Steph Diggs is innocent. We're going to be talking about that tonight. We're going to be going over his report after the Megyn Kelly thing. Thank you. Max Edwards sends $10 and goes, must be special. She got a meal of food. Oh, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. I've been spending a lot of time in that area. But, take it slow. It's just having a good time, man. That's what life is all about. Good times, good vibes. Hanging out doesn't mean you have to be like alone. Doesn't mean you have to like sit home alone. You can still go out, have a good time, and eat a meal of food. It's fun to have a meal of food with somebody, if they're cool. Thank you. Next, Drea sends $25 and says, watch Cover Up on Netflix. You Are Him, a modern day. Yeah, I got to watch. People have said that. I will definitely check that out. Drea. Thank you. Next, Jane sends $25 and goes, No reaction is a reaction. We got you. Yes, Jane. Yes, it is. It's a winning reaction too. This was yesterday. Andrea sent $10 and goes, holy shit, Megyn Kelly is talking about you with lawyer. I know I almost shit myself when that happened. I could not believe that. So, all right, cool. If anyone else wants to have their messages read out loud to the class, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and we can do it that way. All right. All right. So let's do it. Let's hold on. My chat isn't reloading on my screen. I'm just gonna refresh this real quick. Don't go anywhere. You gotta refresh this. Sorry. Jeez Louise. All right, let's do it. So you guys might have seen it yesterday. I came out of nowhere. Lawyer did an hour-long interview with Megyn Kelly. And I just want to take a moment to say that I love Megyn Kelly. I don't care what anyone says. I have been, for you, anyone who's been following me for a long time knows that I am a huge Megyn Kelly stan. I love Megyn Kelly. I'm a conservative. Okay. She's a conservative. But I also, that doesn't mean I like all conservative commentators. I've always just liked her because she's always been not afraid to kind of challenge people within the party, and including Donald Trump. If you guys remember that Donald Trump would not do a debate in which she was the moderator in 2016, because she was the moderator at the first debate in which she was like, Mr. Trump, you have called women cows, fat pigs, skanks. He's like, only Rosie O'Donnell. That was that. And then he got elected president after that. That's all it took. Bro, why is the chat not on my show comments on stage? Yeah, how come my chat isn't? I actually kind of like that. There we go. That works. Anyway, yeah. Oh, I like that. Do you guys like how the chat appears right there? I kind of like that. Did that? Oh, I kind of like that's new. I didn't know you could do that. Only Rosie O'Donnell. Anyway, yeah, so she's cool. And I listened to her podcast, and she's just a good interviewer. I don't know. There's just vibes about Megyn Kelly I always liked her. And when the first trial happened with Karen Reed, I remember she covered it on the first day and had no real opinion on it or take. And I'm like, oh, please get into this Megyn Kelly. But then I was thinking in my head, probably better she didn't, because I bet she would have said guilty, because everybody on Fox News, everybody who works for Fox News says she's guilty. Judge Janine, and it's just because your immediate default in a murder case is guilty. Let's be honest, it's always guilty. Because you're well, that's the hardest part about being a defendant, is that you are assumed to have committed. You're there in the chair, you must have done something. There must be pretty good reason. But anyway, Anyway, I love her. I still love Megyn Kelly, and she's great. And so she had Peter Tragos on yesterday, Jimmy's Auntie Deb's boyfriend there, who I'm going to be honest with you. I'm as straight as you can get, but he's an attractive man. He's flawless. You look at him and you're like, why is he so, the teeth are perfect. Why is everything about him perfect? And how does he have time to look like that? How do you, and you're a lawyer and you're pleasant and nice. I don't know. He's made in a factory. But anyway, so she interviewed Peter Tragos. I had no idea why she suddenly decided to do this 6 or 8 months after the trial, 6 months after the trial. And it was a really good interview. So we're going to watch it. Let's go.
And I'm Megyn Kelly, and welcome to Crime Week here on the Megyn Kelly Show, or as we like to call it, True Crime Christmas, because nothing says. Joining me today, coming up tomorrow, Maureen Callahan on a serial Christmas, because nothing says Christmas
How
like
do
true
I?
crime. All week, we are bringing you deep dives on some big legal cases you
Hold on
likely
one
know
sec.
well and others you might not know.
Hold on. I got to figure out how to make this full screen. Give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec.
Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly and
Nope,
welcome.
That's the wrong button.
Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly and welcome to Crime Week here on the Megyn Kelly Show, or as we like to call it, True Crime Christmas, because nothing says Christmas.
I wanted. How did I get it at 1.5 speed before? I had it
like true.
Hold on. I was watching it before on 1.5 speed. I don't see that option here. You guys see what I'm saying? There's no option here to be like usually there's a thing at the bottom with like a widget. I don't see it. Do you? You see a widget here?
Crime. All week, we are bringing you deep dives on some big legal just this month. Not just one, actually more. Peter Tragos, attorney and host of The Lawyer on riverbendranch.com, used life in Massachusetts. Who was she before all this happened? So let's just start back at the beginning for people who may not be as up to speed on this case as you are. Karen Reed was who? She's living her private life in Massachusetts. Who was she before all this happened to her?
She was a single woman dating a law enforcement officer, had a great job in finance, and her family was a close-knit family, loved each other for all intents and purposes. When she reconnected with this boyfriend who was an officer, and they go out for a night on the town, they had a bit of a tumultuous relationship. And then that night, after some drinking at the bar, hanging out with a bunch of friends, everything changed forever.
So the prosecution, which would ultimately be charging her, alleges that they left this bar, they drove over to a friend's house, another cop, and that her boyfriend got out of the car, that he then walked up to the front door.
Okay, I can't listen to this on regular speed. I need this on 1.5 speed. How do I do this? I was definitely watching it before on 1.5 speed. We have to figure this out right now. Stop it. Hold on. Time out. Getting texts. Bottom right, the 3 dots. Okay. People keep saying the 3 dots. All right, guys. It's not the 3 dots. I'm going to press the 3 dots, and this is what happens. See less, embed. Something isn't working. I don't see any option here for that. So it's not the 3 dots. So we need another plan. We need another plan. Is anyone in the chat try the 9 dots at the top? Okay, we'll try the 9 dots. That one? Menu. No. Next.
Of the friend's house.
Next. Who else has an idea? Move the chat. Okay, let's try that. Let's see. Let's move the chat. Nope. Didn't. Well, did that work? Let's find out. Nope. Didn't work. Oh, hold on. Laura's messaging me. She probably knows the answer. Is it because you're watching the Facebook version rather than YouTube? Yeah, I couldn't find the full 54-minute one on YouTube. Let me go over to YouTube. Hold on. Let me go to YouTube. Hold on. Megyn Kelly. Okay. All right. Okay, that one's a 16-minute one. That's a 14-minute one. Oh, here it is. Okay, this works. Oh, and what's this one? There's a whole thing on me on here. What's this? Oh, that's a short. Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly and welcome to Crime Week here on the Megyn Kelly Show, or as we like to call it, True Crime Christmas, because nothing says Christmas like true crime. All week, we are bringing you deep dives on some big legal cases you likely know well and others you might not know much about. We're talking to a lawyer, a private eye, the woman she's living her private life in Massachusetts. Who was she before all this happened to her?
She was a single woman dating a law enforcement officer, had a great job in finance, and her family was a close-knit family, loved each other for all intents and purposes. When she reconnected with this boyfriend who was an officer, and they go out for a night on the town. They had a bit of a tumultuous relationship. And then that night, after some drinking at the bar, hanging out with a bunch of friends, everything changed forever.
So the prosecution, which would ultimately be charging her, alleges that they left this bar, they drove over to a friend's house, another cop, and that her boyfriend got out of the car, that he then walked up to the front door of the friend's house and went, sorry, this is what she alleges. She alleges he went to the front door of the house, he went inside, and something terrible happened to him. The prosecution said, no, he got out of your car, he never made it inside because you ran him over. You backed up into him at something like 24 miles an hour.
Point two.
Hurting him, casting him into the snowbank, where he then later died from blunt trauma and hypothermia. Is that the basics?
Yeah, I mean, it turns on what happened after they got to 34 Fairview. Everybody's basically on the same page. They went to a couple bars. They were hanging out together. They were drinking together. Karen Reed is driving her Lexus. Nobody disputes that. John O'Keefe, who's her boyfriend and the victim in this case, sitting in the front seat. They drive to 34 Fairview to hang out with the McCabe's and the Alberts, who are all connected to law enforcement and connected to people in Canton. She drops him off. He gets out of the car. There also seems to be third-party witness testimony that he gets out of the car. After that, that's where the stories kind of turn. If you believe the prosecution and the witnesses inside 34 Fairview, he never makes it inside the house. She backs up, hits him with her Lexus because she's angry at him about, a multitude of things, and they're fighting, and she wanted to end his life, I guess, is their point of view. If you believe Karen Reed, she said he walked in towards the house. She didn't see John O'Keefe again. He stayed inside. He was supposed to come back out, kind of tell her what's going on. She gets pissed off, drives back to his house, calls him, leaves him all these angry text messages, and he never comes home. That's Karen Reed's story.
And it wasn't until the wee hours of the next morning, like 5, 6 in the morning, that she and another then start searching for him. Like, what happened to him? Where's John? And, oh, wow, he's dead in the snowbank. How'd that happen? Now, there are two competing facts that I want to ask you about as I was just listening to this. I didn't follow this case as closely as you did at all. But as I was listening to it, the best fact, well, there's two that I think the prosecution has, are as follows. Number one, that she allegedly said, I hit him. And that an emergency worker, like a paramedic, heard that. And now she denies that. But
I love how well Peter knows the case too. It was a good. Peter never came out and said, and I criticized him for this, but I didn't really watch him before Karen Reed, so I didn't know this is his style. He never really says whatever. He breaks down the legality of it, but he knows. Peter Tragos knows that Karen Reed's innocent. And so does him and Emily Baker had the same exact take. If you just watch them, you could just pick up the vibes from the things that they were saying, that they both knew that Karen Reed was innocent. He knows, he knows, he's well aware, and he knows the case inside and out. So she had it's really good to have him on. He's actually a really good person to have on to talk about this.
You've got a third-party witness saying she said that. So that's a very...
I have not seen what he says here about I hit him, but he's nodding and he's like, yeah, that's actually bullshit. He's going to call it out. I bet you he's going to call it out. I bet you he's going to talk about how I hit him stories didn't add up, right? Where Flamati didn't even testify in the second trial. But Katie McLaughlin said that she said, I hit him is in direct conflict to the dash cam video, that none of the cops on the scene heard him say, I hit him. Nobody, that Jennifer McCabe, basically until the first trial, never heard her say, I hit him. It was, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? That evolved as she got angrier with Karen Reed, right? So, yeah.
Good fact for the prosecution. And they also have tailgate plastic in his clothing, from where her tailgate of her Lexus hit him. So it doesn't look like he got beaten up inside. It looks like he got hit by her car.
Okay, so first of all, Megyn, so I would say to her, so I haven't heard what he has said yet, but the answer to that is, yeah, the microscopic pieces of taillight, they didn't find that until 18 months after John O'Keefe was killed, and after Turtleboy put a spotlight on this case. They needed more evidence. That's when they suddenly found the microscopic pieces of taillight embedded in his clothing that they put there. Let's be very clear about that. But give me a break. Because, by the way, he wasn't hit by a car. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. which means they literally put microscopic pieces of taillight into his clothing. These, think how grimy that is. Like, that's like, and why did they do that? Because their case was so weak. Because they didn't find that microscopic pieces of taillight. I remember when Karen first told me about that. She was just like, oh, you'll never guess what happened. Yeah, now they're finding microscopic pieces of taillight in the clothing. I'm like, get the fuck out of there. Every day they would just dump something new. Remember, I used to talk to Karen Reed like every day. And like their story would evolve. The Commonwealth story, no matter the stronger that Karen Reed's case became, the more the Commonwealth story evolved and changed every time. Remember it was a 3-point turn, death by 3-point turn at first. And then that changed. So we'll see what Peter says here. Let's see if he gets it right.
Not just any car, but her car. So those are very good facts for the prosecution. On the other side, for Karen Reed, the best fact I saw for her defense, because her defense is, no, he walked into the house. I didn't run him over. He went into the house, and then there was some cop-on-cop violence. Some old score got settled, and they beat him. They beat him to death, and then threw him in the snowbank and tried to say that I ran him over. And the best evidence I saw for Karen Reed's theory was that someone inside that house allegedly Googled something to the effect of, how long can you be out in the snow before you die, before they found the body, before she even had allegedly hit him.
That is a pretty good one, Megan. That is a pretty good one. How long to die in cold? That's a pretty goddamn, that's what hooked me in, was the Google search. But I would say even stronger than that was the testimony of all the doctors that said he wasn't hit by a car.
And that would certainly suggest that people inside the house were up to no good. Now, at trial, they disputed that piece of testimony. So can you walk us through that evidence? Those, do I have like the best facts on both sides, or have I missed something critical?
Yeah, honestly, there's just so much. So we'll go with what you're asking, because it's really fascinating for somebody who's kind of followed it from a cursory point of view. And maybe, you've heard some of the highlights or seen some of the shows reporting on it, because it was fascinating. And it's really a case unlike any other I've tried personally myself, or followed even, since I've been following these cases in the media. And you've brought up some big points of
why is his skin so flawless? Like, can I just, sorry, it's very distracting. Does he Botox? How old is he? Like, why is his hair so perfect? Why is his skin so smooth? Like, even his beard is just like the perfect combination of like sophisticated gray, with some, dark black there. He's like,
and the prosecution absolutely pushed the I hit him comments as a confession. That's what they continue to call it, a confession. She confessed to law enforcement, to EMS right there on the scene. Karen Reed's team cross-examined those witnesses and said, if you had somebody that confessed, why didn't she get arrested? Why wasn't that immediately the investigation and they knew exactly what happened? Why was there any unknown? Why wasn't the investigation and the crime scene taken as they knew exactly what happened, that she hit him with her Lexus? And Karen Reed's team responds with,
hold on. I want to download something. Hold on. I should have downloaded it before. I'm not going to download it. Like when you watch Around the Horn on ESPN, and they're always like, every time they make a good point, they're like, I want to, like, good job, Peter. We need some sort of, every time he makes a good point, I think we need to do like this. How about this?
Listen, Turtle. All right.
That's what we're going to say. That's right. Every time he makes a really good point, we're going to do that. All right, go.
It was, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Which there are some other people that say that could have been.
Stand by. Let me just play that, because she spoke to Dateline. She didn't testify at her trials, but she did speak to Dateline. Here's Karen Reed trying to clarify that point in SOT 51.
I said, could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
How could that have been? I mean, you dropped him off at the house.
I don't know what else could have been. It was howling wind. I had YouTube blasting on the stereo, and I thought, did he somehow try to flag me down, which was the reaction I was hoping to garner as I slowly pulled away from the house? Did he come out and maybe trip or bend over to pick up his cell phone, and I ran over his foot, and then he passed out drunk? I mean, I didn't think I hit him, but could I have clipped him? Could I have tagged him in the knee and incapacitated him? He didn't look mortally wounded as far as I could see, but could I have done something?
The antis love that line. They're like, he didn't look mortally wounded. Yeah, at 6 o'clock. They're always like, so you looked at his body? No, motherfucker, it's 6 o'clock. Again, this is why you have the right to remain silent, unfortunately. It's because your words get taken out of context. It's like, I understood everything Karen Reed was saying here. Everything. because I've had conversations with her. I get it. I get what she's trying to do here. When you're innocent and you want to tell the world you're innocent, it's very hard to shut up. You know what I mean? But then what she underestimated was that like they will literally use your words against you constantly. And what she's done, what she just did right there. I mean, listen to it again. Listen to it again. Hold on.
That he pulled away from the house. Did he come out and maybe trip or blasting on the stereo? And I thought, did he somehow try to flag me down, which was the reaction I was hoping.
Okay. So just her mannerisms in general just give fodder to the other side. They're like, oh, she's animated. You know, she's, look at her eyes. They're like, they bring that shit up, you know, which is unfair. Maybe she's just, that's her personality. Like, and she's also framed for murder. You ever think of that?
To garner as I slowly pulled away from the house. Did he come out and maybe trip or
in this part this part where she's like, did he come out and trip? Now she's like, I get what she's doing. She's explaining her mentality. She's explaining her confusion. That's what I hear. But what Hank Brennan and them hear, right, is, and people that are like in bad faith, what they're hearing is, oh, you're confessing. This is a confession. You're explaining how you could have hit him. That's what they are hearing here. See what I'm saying? Like, what I'm hearing is her explaining why she was confused, because nobody thought that he got beat up in the house. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, who would that thought didn't even enter her mind? Like, that's so inhumane that other human beings could do that. Right? And so what she's doing now is literally offering up scenarios in which she could have hit John O'Keefe. And I get what she's doing. She's explaining the thought process. This is the first time she's ever been framed for murder, right? She wants to speak her truth and tell the world like her story and like why she was confused that morning. You know what I mean? But what she underestimated was just how many bad faith actors there are out there who aren't interested in hearing her story, who just want to assume that she's guilty. And when they hear this, they're like, oh, you're just explaining to us how you hit John. That's what they're saying. See what I'm saying? Like, so this can go either way. Again, first time being framed for murder. First time. Second time around, she'll do much better. I have no doubt in my mind. The second, if she gets framed for murder again, God forbid, that I don't think she will, give as many interviews. I don't think. I think she learned her lesson, but first time. If it's your first time being framed for, because I'm a talker too, as you know. And if I was in her position and I was innocent, I'd be like, yo, check this out. No, check this out. Check this out. Check this out. It's not like that. It's not like that. Here's why I did this. Like, there's always some shit with me too. Or like, even with my thing, it's like, oh, no. That's not what I was saying in that clip. I'm saying this thing. I'm literally being charged for the same thing. Shit I said on the internet in interviews and stuff like that, And that's a good point. I would have said way more stupid shit than Karen Reed did. I would have stuck my foot in my mouth a million times worse than she did. Because I can't shut up. I literally can't shut up. Ask my lawyers. So I totally get why she's in this scenario. And I was happy that she was talking, because she's a talker like me. She's a talker. She's not shy. But unfortunately, bad faith actors, like people like Hank Brennan and Adam Lally, they're not interested in like seeking truth or justice or hearing her out. They're just like, what did you say that we can use against you? That's all they're looking for here. And all they hear is a confession here.
Or bend over to pick up his cell phone and I ran over his foot and then he passed out drunk. I mean, I didn't think I hit him, but could I have clipped him? Could I have tagged him in the knee?
How many times did you guys, and again, like they love to share facial reactions, shit, so unfair. But how many times have you heard them use that clip? I didn't think I hit him, but could I have tagged him in the knee? They fucking love playing that clip. I've heard the antis play that clip more times than anything. They love that fucking clip. That's like their favorite clip to play. I didn't think I hit him, but could I have hit him in the knee? It's just like, I get what you're saying. I get it. You're explaining your state of mind that morning, but all they're hearing in their head is confession. That's all they're hearing. It's fucking stupid. So she's not stupid. They're stupid. Like, they're dishonest. But unfortunately, first time being framed for murder.
And incapacitated him. He didn't look mortally wounded as far as I could see, but could I have done something that knocked him out and in drunkenness and in the cold didn't come to again?
And just to be clear, Peter, this was after, so the night goes on, she allegedly hit him around right just after midnight. But according to her testimony, she didn't hit him. She waited for him to come back out of the party. He didn't. She got mad. She went back over to his house. And then by the next morning, by like 5 or 6 a.m., she and this other gal were like looking for him. And lo and behold, there he was dead in the snowbank at the location of the party. So go ahead.
Right. And that is one of the big points of contention. And as you know, one of the big things now that there's competing civil lawsuits that we may talk about later, when we're talking about the criminal case and you're saying, here's the best evidence for one side and here's the best evidence for the other, the prosecution in this case has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt what happened that night. And that was one of the big difficulties when you have maybe some EMS and some people said, she said, I hit him. Some people said, did I hit him? Based on her conversations and a lot of what else happened that night, maybe it wasn't as clear of a confession. And nobody seemed to think that at the time that it was a clear confession. And
I mean, think about Karen Reed. Like, you didn't see Brian Walsh doing any interviews, did you? You know what I mean? Real guilty people don't do interviews like that because they're just like, they give themselves, there's just no explanation for their shit. They just can't, whatever. And like, think of the things like if Karen Reed was guilty. So let me get this straight. So basically you committed murder. That's what they want us to believe. And the state did such a really flimsy job that you might get away with it. Right? They did like a really bad job. They didn't like get any surveillance video of like your taillight anywhere. You lucked out with the Canton Library. That video disappeared that would have showed your taillight all fucked up, right? Everything's turning up Karen Reed. Everything was really good. Like, bro, she killed a man that she didn't really, disclaimer, she didn't really kill any man, but like, because they're going to clip that. They want us to believe that she killed a man and then basically got away with it because the police did such a shitty job. And you know what she did? She's like, I'm going to get the FBI involved. I'm going to get because they're even more retarded than the local police. Like, let me bring the FBI in just in case. Because I've already basically gotten away with murder because they've done such a bad job investigating that let's just get the feds in here. Let's just get the feds in here and guilty people don't invite the feds in. Like, that is the most obvious tell that Karen Reed is innocent more than anything is guilty people don't invite the feds. They're like, yeah, let's get the fucking FBI in here. Let's get them poking around because they don't have like the technology or the resources to like properly investigate a murder. They won't hire crash reconstructionists. Right? Because remember, she's like, oh, thank God I got Trooper Paul. Oh, thank God that retired. They'll never convict me with him. Oh, you know what I want? Arca. Let's get Arca in here. Because if she really did it, if she really hit John O'Keefe with the car, you know what Arca would say? That she did it. Arca would be like, yep, very consistent. Very consistent with an automobile collision. His injuries, very consistent with an automobile collision. If he was hit by a car, then his injuries would be consistent with that. And the damage to the vehicle would be consistent with that. And that's what the FBI would have brought in if Karen Reed did it. So the last thing a guilty person would do is invite the FBI to come clean up this shitty investigation in which you basically got away with murder. That is the most obvious tell that Karen Reed is innocent. She invited the FBI in. What else do you need to know?
And when you flip to his injuries, which you mentioned them as kind of good evidence for both sides, that her taillight pieces were, on him in his sweater, kind of attached to him. How would they get there unless she hit him with her Lexus? And then she says his injuries match a fight, getting beat up by cops inside. He had raccoon eyes. He died from hitting the back of his head. And, the evidence shows maybe it was on a ledge and not a flat ground. That was a little who was actually going to prove what injury was the cause of death and how he got it. So that was a big point of contention throughout. And if you looked at a lot of the medical evidence and the accident reconstructionists, to me, that's really where Karen.
That was a good fact for her. The fact that the Lexus expert at trial that said there was nothing recorded on this car of hitting somebody, of going 24 miles an hour or whatever it was, and running over another person like that.
Wait. There's a Lexus expert. Is she talking about DeSogra? There was, I wish. That sounds like a really good expert. The Lexus expert that said that there's proof that she never, I must have missed that expert. That sounds like a really good expert that I wish we had. I don't remember that expert, but go ahead.
That he would have expected something to register in the car's brain and nothing did.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with so many facts in this case is there was kind of competing theories on that, where if you hit a man that's 200 pounds, maybe that's not going to be enough to register an event when you have, a very heavy Lexus like that. And then there were some people that said, well, maybe it should have, and there's nothing on here that actually did register it. But even more so, Karen Reed had accident reconstructionists that were actually hired by the FBI while they were investigating this investigation, which we'll get into the shady stuff happening there as to why the FBI would even get involved. But Karen Reed ends up hiring those guys as her experts, and they do all sorts of different testing, and they can never create the same action where something hitting that taillight would explode out into the yard and on John O'Keefe the way that the prosecution said it happened in that case. It just wouldn't happen, especially with some of the videos and pictures where the taillights are still working without busting those little actual light bulbs inside. It was really fascinating.
Which was the case here?
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
The lights were still working.
So
see, this is how you know Peter knows. Peter knows she's innocent. He fucking knows full well. Because I mean, he never makes the case for the other side. You never hear him make the case that Karen Reed's guilty because it's retarded. It's just a retarded position to have, and smart people like him see through that.
In other words, this was faked. In other words, the point is those guys killed him inside. They brought him out, and then they were the ones who hit her car to make it look like it had bumped into him.
So partially, they somewhat point the finger at the guys inside the house for beating John O'Keefe to death and leaving him on the lawn, but they allege that law enforcement actually cracked the taillight, placed the pieces there, mixed everything together so it would look like that taillight hit John O'Keefe. And they went so far as to, Alan Jackson, one of the defense lawyers in this case, had a chart of all the glass that was found at the scene. And there was a cocktail glass that was found on Karen Reed's car that was found nowhere else at the scene. So how really would it have gotten there but for somebody placing it on the bumper of Karen Reed's car, which was driven away from the scene, driven around the next morning, put on a tow truck, driven back, and we're supposed to believe that some of this cocktail glass stayed on there, and there was one hair that stayed on there that they said was John O'Keefe's hair. Things that just were really hard to believe that the Commonwealth was trying to explain to a jury in this case.
Okay, so what the theory of the prosecution is easy to understand, that she and John hadn't really been getting along. He had talked about possibly breaking up with her. She was very angry that night. She was drunk, and in her drunken anger, she ran him over. And there was some debate about whether they overcharged the case. Should they have just charged it as a manslaughter? They went for murder too, which definitely raised the stakes for this jury. Like, it was intentional. She wanted to kill him, as opposed to just like heat of passion. She did something crazy. But the defense had a totally different version of events. And so for the clueless juror just walking into this case, why would John O'Keefe's fellow cops want him dead?
It's a great question. Cops. If you look at the two...
Well, first of all, I don't like the fellow cops thing. They weren't his fellow cops. None of them were like... Carl Dougal was his fellow cop, right? Like friends from work. Like Brian Albert, he never interacted with Brian Albert at work. That was not his fellow cop. Brian Higgins was not his fellow cop. They happened to be cops, but they weren't. And those were the only two cops inside the house. So like, she doesn't really get it, but it's okay. I still love Megyn Kelly.
Criminal trials, because this went to trial twice. The first one was a hung jury. The second one was a not guilty verdict on all of the charges dealing with ending John O'Keefe's life.
Like, well, keep in mind, she could have had Jennifer Coffin doofus on. She chose Peter, which is a much, much better option to have.
He was convicted of OUI, operating under the influence. But the big difference in the theme and theory of the defense case from trial 1 to trial 2 was this was a big conspiracy in trial 1. Everybody was involved. The people inside the house ended his life. The cops covered it up, and there was a hung jury. In the second trial, it's you can't prove anything. This investigation was so bad. These cops didn't do the interviews properly. They didn't record them. They didn't secure the scene properly. This evidence doesn't make sense. It looks like it could have been planted. These guys have been terminated. These text messages are disgusting, how they talk about Karen Reed and other people. And that was a not guilty verdict, that they couldn't prove the case. So two very different theories. But when they were trying to prove that somebody inside the house killed John O'Keefe, it was based on jealousy because somebody inside the house had been texting flirtatious texts with Karen Reed, had kissed Karen Reed, and the defense was trying to use some videos in one of the bars as if these two guys were grappling and, play fighting, but they were kind of getting in the mood to fight, I guess. Some of it was, a little bit of a reach, but they were trying to say that they looked over.
Thank you, Peter. That was one of my biggest criticisms, was the whole we're warming up thing. I never bought into that. I thought that was like, bro, they're not getting ready for a 5K. They're not stretching and warming up. They're just assholes. They're just drunk douchebags that probably do that all the time. 50-some-year-old men who drink too much and they're like, yeah, you want to pretend to fight? Yeah, okay. Retards.
Across the bar and pointed at John O'Keefe and told John O'Keefe to come to 34 Fairview because basically they wanted to fight. And that was kind of their theme and theory of what the motivation for somebody being wanting to kill John O'Keefe inside that house.
When would the defense have posited, if they did, that law enforcement broke her tail light to make it look like it was Karen Reed? Because under this scenario, he goes inside the house, he gets murdered, but we've already talked about how she took off. She was there for a short time, then she left with that SUV. Did they posit that her tail light was broken later when she drove back in the morning and found the body?
So this taillight, there was so much litigation about this taillight. First, the defense says there was a video that shows she backed up very slowly into John O'Keefe's car at John O'Keefe's house. And that's how she cracked her taillight, and there was just a little crack in it.
Yep.
Not when she hit John O'Keefe. The prosecution says, no, it was totally damaged, destroyed, and they had in 46 different pieces. But what made the taillight so interesting is it was towed to the Sally Port where law enforcement is. And when they tried to show, when the SUV was dropped off, they showed an inverted video, a flipped video. And they were like, hey, nobody even went near this taillight. But then when you realize it's a flipped video, which they did in the middle of trial, then you realize there are people that walk by that taillight. And when you look closer at the entire time it was in the Sally Port, there are blips and cuts in and out, and huge chunks of time missing where you don't see what's going on with that Lexus. And the defense said, well, where are those chunks? And the Commonwealth says, well, it's motion activated, so it might not be there. And then when they secured the crime scene the first day, they found a couple pieces of taillight in the yard, right where John O'Keefe's body was found. But days and weeks and months went by, and they continued to find taillight piece after taillight piece after taillight piece in this front yard that they didn't find the first time they went, the second time they went, the third time they went. They just happened to be driving by and they find another piece of taillight. Very sketchy, unlike just about every investigation you've probably ever seen.
So what does that imply?
So they're implying that they would go back to the yard, put the pieces in the yard after they busted it at the Sally Port, and they would find it every day.
At least she gets it. She's asking the questions. So what does that imply? Well, I think you know what that implies, that either taillight is a perennial plant that grows annually on Brian Albert's front lawn every February, or it was planted there. Or another possible solution, it was never there at all, and it was just entered into evidence, which I think is the most likely scenario. I don't think Proctor planted a lot of taillight because that's too much work. You don't actually have to plant it. It's not like Proctor went to the scene and he's like, aha, taillight. No, he's just like, oh, okay, this one, we're going to put this one in there. When did you find this one? February 18th. The Czechoslovakia motherfucker world. February 18th. Boom, done. Proctor wasn't even he was kind of a lazy, and it wasn't just him. Berkowitz was heavily involved too. Burning in Hell Berkowitz is, I think, was really much more involved in this. I think he's the Canton Police Sallyport ghost. I think he is the person that brought taillight over to 34 Fairview when the CERT team was there. I think none of this happens without Ken Berkowitz. None of it. I think he was helping his buddy Higgins, who he had a man crush on, and that's it.
More and more pieces of taillight that they didn't find the first day, the first week. And they just kept planting pieces of taillight and going and getting it to make sure. There are text messages that said, we're going to pin it on the girl. And we're going to make sure that nobody in the house catches any crap. We're going to make sure he's a Boston cop, so we're not even going to look into him. So there were all kinds of text messages that the defense made look like they were trying to protect the people in the house and make sure Karen Reed caught charges for this.
Oh, well, that sounds really bad. I hadn't realized that there were explicit text messages saying we're going to pin it on the girl. That's from cops?
That's from the people inside the house, inside 34 Fairview. Some of them are cops or related to cops. And they said they would make comments like, oh, she did such a good job explaining this, or make sure they're getting all their testimony straight, to say, make sure we all say the guy never came in the house. They were making sure they were all staying consistent there. They weren't necessarily being forthcoming with who was actually in the house that night. It was just... what happened, I don't think we'll ever know, because the investigation was so bad. And the lead investigator ended up getting terminated because he was found to have shown bias in this case. sending some of the most disgusting text messages you would ever think about a defendant that you are doing an investigation on, supposed to be protecting and serving and being an unbiased party, just doing your investigation and going where the evidence leads you. I mean, these text messages were so horrible. He had
So first of all, guys, like, can we chill with the Megyn Kelly hate? She doesn't even know the most basic shit. She's doing her job. First of all, who cares if she doesn't know the most basic shit? She's still asking questions, right? Don't you want people to ask questions? And so, like, she's also facilitating. She's winding him up. That's her job, is to wind him up for the audience. She speaks for the person in her audience who doesn't know anything about this, and she asks questions and then lets him do his whole answer. I mean, these are legitimate questions she's asking, so give her a break, you know.
Supervisors thumbs upping those text messages. It was just a good old boys club that looked really, really horrible, I think, to this.
How bad were they? The ones I heard about where he was saying, like, I'm looking for nudes now on her phone.
No
that
nudes.
was about as racy as I heard, but I was listening to Dateline. They don't tend to go to the fully R-rated place.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about, there are certain things that, you know, we would probably both condemn, but that were not necessarily as bad as some of the biased ones where, is she hot? Yeah, she's kind of hot, but no ass. She has, you know, this Boston accent or whatever. They were objectifying her, which is one thing. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to pin some crime.
This is horrible, but like, one of the most outrageous texts in that whole thing was David DeChico, who I think is the most underrated douchebag in the whole force. He was a minor player in all this, but he only had a few text messages. He's like the worst one, I think. He's like the biggest fucking meathead pervert of all of them. Just his name, David DeChico. Okay, relax there, donkey lips. All right, when he got... And this, I shouldn't be laughing about this because it's just fucking outrageous. It's inappropriate. When they were like, his response, when like one of them asked Proctor, like, is she hot? Fall River accent, no ass. Remember DeChico's response to that was, oh, fuck her, no ass bitch. Like, bro, what? That's like some caveman shit. No ass bitch, fuck her, no ass bitch. No ass. I'm going to start calling people a no ass bitch. No ass bitch. What? Does that like offend him? Oh, fuck her. No ass bitch. Yeah, not only did she kill people, she also has no ass. No ass bitch. Fuck her. No ass bitch. Like, who says that? Who says that? He's worse than Proctor. Like, that is one of the most underrated texts in the whole thing. Was the Chico, oh, fuck her, no ass bitch. What? Excuse me? Where did that come from? That got aggressive real quick. He's like trying to one-up Proctor. Like, he's like, so mal, fuck her, no ass bitch. Would it be better if she had a fat ass, did Chico? Would that make you feel better? If she ran someone over and she had a nice fat ass, would you like that? Oh, fuck her, no ass bitch. Oh, sorry. Jeez.
I'm on her. But then they started to say that we're going to make sure the owner of the house doesn't catch any shit. He's a Boston cop. That's a quote from the text messages. And they would talk about how she had a balloon knot because she had some, you know, surgery or issues, gastrointestinal issues. They would talk about how she had leaky poo. They would talk about how she, you know, some of the text messages with the person that she was having the affair with were back and forth and racy and talking about John and how we need to hide this from John. And then that person went to the police station that night at 2 a.m. and said he was moving cars around, but was instead moving bags back and forth between different cars, going inside the police station with his hood up, and just sketchy thing on top of sketchy thing from all these law enforcement officers involved.
And might I add, Peter, that video was not given to the defense in the first trial. They just didn't get it. Seems that was a pretty important video. The video of Higgins lurking around like Matthew Farwell with his hoodie on, moving bags in the parking lot, like, and they just didn't give that. That is outrageous. That's criminal. What if she was convicted? It's such an important video.
Wow. So listening to you, Peter, I feel like you may believe that Karen Reed is actually innocent, factually innocent, not just found not guilty, which she was.
You may,
but may in fact truly not have done this.
You know, it's really hard for me to say, like, beyond a reasonable doubt, I don't think either side would ever be able to prove this. And because of that, because the investigation was so horrible, and I just don't feel like I can trust anything the cops say or did in this case, you'd never get a conviction. This is a case I would never want to try. I prosecuted cases. I would never prosecute this case. This is just not one I would have felt ethically comfortable with putting in front of a jury. On the civil side, will they be able to get enough to prove to a jury by the greater weight of the evidence, 51%? I think it's possible, but it's just so hard to know what happened inside that house at 34 Fairview. So if I had to choose, is she factually innocent or is she factually guilty? I would choose that she's factually innocent. I'm just not overly confident of that. I don't think I would be able to say that beyond a reasonable doubt because I really don't think anybody's ever going to be able to prove what happened that night.
Okay, let's talk about the civil suit. So she was found not guilty. First, there was a hung jury. Then I guess we'll play it because there was an extraordinary moment on June 18th, 2025, when she was found not guilty.
Oh, yeah.
And you could hear the crowd cheering.
Oh,
outside.
yeah.
She had quite a groundswell of support that had begun in the beginning of the first trial. Here's that moment in SOP 53.
Let's do it. Let's do
003. What say is the defendant at the bar leaving the scene after accident resulting in death? Is the defendant not guilty or guilty? So say you, Mr. Foreman? So say you all? Jurors, hearken your verdict as the court records that you upon your oath say the defendant on 001 is not guilty, on 002 is guilty of operating under the influence of liquor, and 003 not guilty. Thank you.
All right, jurors, everybody please be seated. Jurors, we thank you for your service.
Yes.
And the crowd support for her, Peter, would be relevant because the prosecution witnesses and the family of the victim really objected and felt this colored their right to a fair trial.
Yeah, it's brutal to think about the victim's family. The O'Keefes and all of this, regardless of what happened and who did what inside 34 Fairview or law enforcement, they lost John O'Keefe. And that family has gone through, I don't know if you know any of the backstory of that family. They have gone through more loss than most people would in their entire lives. And, to continue to feel that way and not get justice, they clearly believe Karen Read is guilty. They clearly believe the witnesses inside 34 Fairview. They've all gotten a lot closer as this litigation has continued. So I feel horribly for them. But I think that the fault lies with law enforcement. The fault lies with the prosecutors in how this case was prepared, how this case was investigated, how this case was litigated. Some of the other text messages with the cops were basically guaranteeing that Karen Read is guilty the next morning before an investigation had even taken place. And then, you have just that confirmation bias where you want to be correct and you're going to do everything you can to make sure you're correct. And that's what it felt like more to me than maybe a big conspiracy to cover it up and protect the people inside the house. But I mean, we've seen cases where law enforcement gets locked in on somebody and they're going to make sure that's the right person. And they start, getting to know the victims, and it's so sad. And you want to bring justice and you think you're crossing the line for the right reason. And it just blew up in their face in this case.
That item that I asked you about before. So when she went back and she was looking for John's body or John, and then they stumbled upon his body. This is around 6 a.m. And there was her friend, last name McCabe, and that person Googled hose, meaning how. She used an S instead of a W. And how long to die in cold. And that to me seems like it should.
Time out. She said hose. We usually say hoss. I like hose. Hose be tripping. Hose long to die in cold. Oh, stop it. Because she's a hoe. Jen McCabe's a hoe. So there you go. Hose long to die in cold. Oh, man. That's good. Okay, go ahead.
Have been known very clearly what time she Googled that. Because if she Googled that before she knew, basically, they were saying, well, I only did that. Her defense to Karen saying that the people inside the house had killed him. And look, here's evidence you knew he was dead. You Googled that before I even came back. But her defense was, I didn't Google that when I was alone inside the house before you came back. I Googled that with you once we realized that you had hit him and he was in the snow and we were trying to figure out whether he was dead or alive. Right? Is that basically how this McCabe defended that? But why isn't that just totally knowable what time she Googled that? That the whole case should rise or fall around that Google.
Yeah, the way you explained it is exactly how kind of the arguments went on both sides. Was it 2 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning? Because that makes all the difference in the world. Because nobody knew he was dead at 2 o'clock in the morning. So how are you possibly searching that unless you're the person that put him out in the cold and you're wondering how long it would take? And it was, again, unlike any other case I've seen. Celebrate said one time.
Celebrate.
And actually everybody agreed at one point that it showed that it was at 2:27 or something in the morning. And then they got Celebrate involved. Celebrate's like, well, that's not actually correct. That's when the tab was open.
But Celebrate.
Sorry?
Celebrate.
So Celebrate is like a program that they download the phone and it tells you
the E is silent.
Here's all the Google searches. Here's the time each Google search was made. And that report said 2:27 a.m. And then there's another different program called Axiom that does basically the same thing. That said 2:27
Yes.
a.m. as well.
Everything
But then
said
Celebrate
2:27.
had, well, maybe it was at 6:04. Is 2:27 the time she opened the tab and she was searching some sports team, Hockamock Sports?
So I think what Peter's failing to point out here, we love Peter, is that that when they found, first of all, the evolution of this, that when the state police took the phone and extracted it, they didn't find House Long to Die in Cold at any time. There was no report of it at 6:24 or 2:27 at all. And then Karen Reed's team hires an expert. He runs it through 2:27. Look at that shit. She Googled House Long to Die in Cold at 2:27 a.m. Got him. And actually, I was looking forward to seeing Richard Green in the second trial, but they didn't really go with the conspiracy angle as much. Because remember, his report was like, he had it to like the 1,000th of a second that she did it. He was like more certain than ever that she did it. And Ian Whiffin's whole thing, his whole story was basically that, yeah, we just changed it. We just manually got rid of it. We just decided she didn't do it. So we changed the program specifically for her so it doesn't come up. What about your competitor Axiom? Do they, what happens when you run it through Axiom now? The latest, it still says 2:27 in Axiom. Oh, okay. So she did it. Okay, just making sure.
And when she was in bed at night, going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that tab was left open. And then when she searched at 6 a.m., it was showing the time she originally opened the tab. So there were competing experts saying the search was at 6 o'clock, the search was at 2 o'clock. And once again, like so many other facts in this case, it felt impossible to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, which once again should be held against the prosecutor and not the defendant.
And it was shown as the
That's so frustrating. As soon as I heard that piece of it, that somebody was Googling how long to die in cold, and it happened at 2 a.m. before they found the body, I was like, oh, the people inside the house definitely did it. Karen Reed did not do this.
Obviously.
That's as good as evidence as you're ever going to get. And then I read that thing you just said about how they were like, well, it might have been the time, 2 a.m. might have been the time she opened the internet for a search that came many hours later. And as somebody who always has tons of tabs open on my phone, I can understand that happening very easily, that you just use a tab that's already open to search something many hours later. So unfortunately, that's not as clear as we would like.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I've handled trials that have Celebrate reports. I'm sure you've seen other trials with Celebrate reports. I've never seen them attacked like this as just a report that they put out as a time that seems very simple is just absolutely, completely wrong. And this is something I'm going to keep an eye out now. Are more defense attorneys going to attack this? And how often does Axiom and Celebrate give completely different reports like they did in this case? Because Axiom, if you run a report right now on her phone, still says the search was at 2:27 a.m.
Because it happened at 2:27.
Wow. The other question about, we spent some time in the taillight. There was a question about whether,
because Axiom doesn't get paid the kind of money that Cellbrite gets paid by the Norfolk County DA's office. So they can just report the truth. Whereas Cellbrite is going to cater to the customer, which is the Norfolk County DA's office.
this Lexus, it was an SUV,
Yes.
right?
It was like I think it's
Okay, whether this, well, anyway, whether this Lexus SUV, even at whatever it was, 24 miles an hour, let's say, whether the taillight would break upon hitting a man, and that this was, they couldn't replicate this, the defense, as they tried over and over and over to recreate the scene of this alleged incident that the prosecution said happened here to take his life. That makes some sense to me too. I don't know, like that a man made of flesh and bone might not be enough force to take out the taillight on an SUV backing up into him. What was the back and forth around that?
Yeah. And, Megyn, it's impossible to really fully dig into each one of these individual aspects in just an hour or 6 hours. But if I showed you his body, so I'm a personal injury lawyer now. I handle a lot of truck accidents, car accident case, pedestrian accident case. So a person that gets hit by a car. And we all kind of know what that looks like, especially if somebody gets hit at 24 miles an hour. I have had clients die at 24 miles an hour getting hit by a car. But do you know what they look like? They have broken bones. They've got internal bleeding. They've got serious head injuries. They've got injuries.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Peter. I didn't know that about his line of work. So he's regularly has people who have been hit by cars. He's involved in civil litigation though, but he knows that like you can die from that. If you have like internal bleeding and injuries and like all this shit, like it's pretty fast. 24 miles an hour is fucking fast, to get hit by a car that size.
Below the waist, John O'Keefe had none of that. No broken bones, no bruising anywhere on his body. The back of his head, hitting the ground basically, or hitting a ledge was the cause of his death. And one of the fatal flaws of the prosecutor's case the second time around is their expert showed an example of another pedestrian getting hit by a car and they passed away. And they're saying, see, look, this can happen. The problem is the report on that person had broken bones, internal damage,
Yep.
exactly what you would expect for
Yep.
somebody that got hit by a car. And the ME, who was not hired by either side, could not determine that he died as a result of a car accident or that it was a homicide. It was undetermined. And she did not see evidence that this was a result of a car accident. No experts did, really.
Gosh,
That's right. What a Proctor. She was a whack job cunt too, right? Or was she just a whack job? I think she was just a whack job to Proctor.
so tricky. We did pull some sound from a couple of the jurors after the not guilty verdict. It's always fascinating to listen to them if they'll talk. And this one you're going to hear first. It's the jury foreman, Charlie Deloach. Take a listen to Stop 55.
It was intense because before I got to the last not guilty, the crowd erupted. It was already cheering like it was a basketball stadium outside. I didn't take one note. I didn't have to after the first witness. It was just like, oh, okay. I see where this is going. During the trial, I just was waiting and just looking for that aha moment, and there was none to make her guilty at all. It was just always like, oh, that witness sucked. I was open-minded. I was willing to listen to both sides. If she hit him or if there is corruption, and then the corruption outweighed her hitting him with the car. The case was leaning one way, and it kept on leaning one way, and up until the very end.
One more to play for you. This is juror number 4 speaking up.
I love
Jason, the jury.
I've spoken to juror number 4. I've had a nice conversation with Jason, and he does not want to come on the show though, because he does not feel like getting harassed. But he's actually a funny motherfucker, and I reported. He's like, he corrected some of my things. He's seen my tweets and stuff, so he wanted to correct some of the record. So I said that he was flirting. He had his seat moved, and I thought it's because he was flirting with. I always saw him talking to juror number 10, the one that was sitting next to Paula, and he's like, "Yeah, I saw you afterwards. You tweeted that I was flirting with her." He's like, "Yeah." So the thing about that is she's pregnant and I'm gay. Oh, okay. So so he goes, it was really just the one juror who was in the back couldn't hear that well. So they wanted to move her closer to the jury stand. Oh, sorry. And then when he came in, I thought he looked at me. Like the way we were aligned, Kearney was kind of right in between us. And like, he kind of smiled. And like he had this like look on his face that like was like not guilty, like something really cool is about to happen. And he's like, "Yeah, so I wasn't smiling at you. I was smiling at Karen." So, but he confirmed he was smiling because he was happy. Like he knew that they were about to deliver. I mean, how could you not be happy for Karen Reed if you were a member of this jury, right? You're about to acquit her and she doesn't even know it. She doesn't even know it. Think of how cool that is. That's a cool feeling. That must be like a cool, like, yeah, we're about to. And it's not like they just did it in 5 minutes. They took 4 days. They really thought about it.
Found Karen Reed not guilty on murder and manslaughter. Was it because they had reasonable doubt or because they thought she was innocent?
So I think for the jurors, there's a mix of some people think that she was definitely innocent, and the other people, there was a lot of reasonable doubt, at least to where we didn't want to convict her. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I think that she was innocent. It's hard to tell exactly what people think deep down. There was a lot of things thrown at us. Do I think it was a corrupt police investigation? I don't know. There's no way for me to know. I wasn't there. There was just, there was holes in the case that left for reasonable doubt. I think they could have checked some boxes or done some things differently. But do I know that they were corrupt? Absolutely not. I don't know that there was any corruption going on. But do I know that there wasn't enough proof or evidence secured by the police to convict Karen Reed? Absolutely not. There was not.
Very interesting, Peter, that he's
good.
saying
He was
that we were
articulate.
between actual innocence and just not guilty, but did not
I mean,
speak.
the jurors, those two jurors that spoke out were so good. You know what I mean? The things that they're saying. There was 2 jurors, he said, that were 2 of the 10 were guilty at first. 2 of the 12. And it was the pregnant one, juror number 10, and then juror number, I think she was like 14, the older woman who was interviewed by WCVB. he's like, those two, and I knew juror 14 was going to be a problem. I think that was her number. The older woman, whatever she was. I could tell. I looked at the jurors that I'm like, that one right there is going to be the problem. Like, I'm telling you, that one right. I knew it. I picked him out. I'm like, that one's the problem right there. I didn't think the pregnant woman was going to be a problem, but I'm like, that one is going to be a problem. And I was right. But he's like, yeah, he's like, that was their initial thing, was guilty, but we had a good discussion and we went over it. And by the end, they were pretty convinced that, yeah, there's definitely more than enough reasonable doubt here, as it should be. It was like the perfect juror. And so, like, we've heard from the foreman, we've heard from this guy, and they had really good things to say. I mean, like, everything that they said was reasonable. And both of them, by the way, both of them didn't just say not guilty. They both said innocent. They both said innocent. And the foreman has gone even further to be like, we want more of an investigation. We want an FBI. Like, he wants that guy. The foreman really wants justice for John O'Keefe. And when I spoke with Jason, he told me that, like, he asked me, I remember he asked me, he's like, so who do you think did it? I'm like, me? I think Higgins, Colin, and Brian did it. He's like, really? Colin? You know, Colin. I'm like, yeah, you didn't meet Colin. You didn't meet any of them. Because it's just interesting that, because he's like, I don't know. Like, the second jury was left with, like, all they knew is they didn't think she did it, but they didn't really know who did it. Like, because they didn't get to meet Brian Higgins or Brian Albert or Colin Albert. You know, they didn't get to hear from any of these people. So they have no idea what these people are even like. You know, they just heard of them.
Of any holdouts saying, no, I think she did it.
It's happy birthday.
Yeah, and I think that really goes to the investigation and the way that this case was presented. There
and
was
Paula.
everywhere.
Oh, of course.
No matter where you want to look, if you want to compare the experts, if you want to compare the medicine.
And how can I forget Paula? Of course. You know, obviously Paula was the most outspoken of the jurors. And again, very, very articulate, but she was my favorite juror the whole time. Like, I picked, she was my rankings. I'm like, if we lose juror 11, we riot, because I could tell she was going to be good.
And if you want to compare the card data, if you want to compare the credibility of witnesses, because that was a really big thing. If you notice, juror number 1, the foreperson said, after the first witness, I was like, oh, wow. And he still kept an open mind. But so much of these trials is the jury looking at each individual witness and judging their credibility. Are they telling the truth? Are they being honest? Do they have something to gain or lose by this testimony? Does it make sense in the context of the rest of the testimony? And I just think that their credibility was hurt throughout the trial by the cross-examination and the other evidence presented by the defense.
Do we know who the first witness was? It would have been for the prosecution, since they go first. And my understanding is when they went back for the second trial after the first jury was hung, they eliminated some of their more problematic cops, like the guy who was like,
all of them.
Let's see the nudes, and referring to Karen Reed in those disgusting terms you mentioned.
Yeah, they eliminated him. They also eliminated a guy by the name of Joseph Paul. They also didn't bother with him, or Brian Tully, or a whole bunch of cops. We got a bunch of boring cops, and like all these state troopers you never heard of before. You're like, wait, what's Evan Brent? Who the fuck is that? Like, who's this guy? Why do I care about him? Like, what's a Zach Clark? What? Huh? Who's that guy? We heard from some really Connor Queef. Okay.
He did not get called by the prosecution second time, so they learned. So I'd imagine they would have, you always want to start with your best foot forward, your best witness.
Yeah, I think they started with an EMS person who I actually liked. I thought he was a good witness. I thought he was trying his best. He made a mistake. I believe it's him that said John O'Keefe had like a really big jacket on, and he didn't. He just had like a short sleeve or a long sleeve thin shirt that you probably wouldn't be wearing out in the snow. But I don't know. Boston guys are probably tougher than me in the snow. But I think that's what the defense was trying to. I was in Colorado, almost died from the snow there. But so they were trying to say, you didn't even remember those details. So, and they were trying to say that shirt would be more likely something that he had on inside versus outside, and they dragged him outside and threw it. So there were all these little details, but I didn't think the first witness was that bad, honestly. And the way that the prosecution pared down the case from trial 1 to trial 2 was amazing. They got a special prosecutor who's a big criminal defense lawyer there that they brought in specifically just to hire this case.
The problem with calling Timothy Nuttall first is that Hank was like telling a story. And like Timothy Nuttall was like the hero of the story. And then you meet Timothy Nuttall and you're like, okay, this guy is the hero of give me a break. This guy's like a joke. And he like can't remember shit, and his story has changed. And he seems like a nice enough guy, but like, don't let the nice guy act fool you. He was participating in pure evil, and he was lying, whether intentional or not. He was not telling the truth on the stand.
case, nobody from within their office, much better at his presentation. But I think he missed the boat a lot with the way he presented the case. And one thing he did was he did not call Proctor, who you were referencing before, who was the lead investigator in the case. They tried to pretend like he didn't exist. And you can imagine the defense did not like that, and they did not let that go quietly. And they highlighted his name and said his name and besmirched his name as much as they possibly could. And they didn't call him either. So he was kind of like the boogeyman. Why wouldn't they call the lead investigator? You really want to side with them? You can really trust this investigation.
Right.
They don't even trust their own guy. It was not a good look.
That's not the way to do it. No, one would think you'd call him. You'd just front it all. You'd have him do a full mea culpa. I was a douchebag. I've been fired. So humiliated. My wife, she's forgiven me, but I just was acting like an ass. But it doesn't mean I was corrupt. I certainly wouldn't corrupt a murder investigation. But like to not call him. I mean, hindsight's 2020. Obviously, I'm sitting here in this comfort of my studio, not like the prosecutor who actually had to get this done. Okay, so now let's talk about the civil suits, because this is pretty extraordinary. It's not extraordinary to me that John O'Keefe's family is now filing a wrongful death lawsuit against Karen Reed. That happens, not infrequently. It's like what Ron Goldman did to OJ after he was acquitted. You do have to testify as the defendant in this posture once you've already been acquitted, and you get sued in civilly. So like she is going to have to testify in this case. But what's extraordinary is there's lawsuits going the other way against her. By whom exactly?
So there are lawsuits against her and the bars by the O'Keefe family for wrongful death. Like you said, that's normal, different burden. Civil court versus criminal. You can be found.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant to say the opposite. Lawsuit by her against others.
By the way, remember when, what was it, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, they said that me and Karen Reed were getting sued for defamation? Remember that? All the antis were like, oh, Turtleboy's getting sued. Yeah, it's been like 3 months, bro. When's that coming? Is that coming any day now? It's been almost 3 years since I started saying the McAlberts killed a man. Been about 3 years, and 3 years is a statute of limitations. And I don't know how that works. If it's like retroactive, it's like if each time after it restarts the clock. I don't know how that works. But like, what's the holdup? What's the holdup here, pal?
Yes. So she has also filed a lawsuit against the aforementioned Michael Proctor, who was the lead investigator on the case, Yuri Buchanan, who was another trooper who was Proctor's supervisor, and then everybody's supervisor, Brian Tully, another law enforcement officer, and then the 5 people in the house that she basically thinks are responsible for John O'Keefe's death.
And don't tell me it's money or anything like that. Like a homeless man named Ryan Waters spent like 6 years suing me. Like I get sued all the time by like complete degenerates and people with no money. People sue me all the time. Never lost, but you can sue someone. And don't tell me Matt McCabe doesn't have like sue me money. Like they hate me. If they're actually innocent, why aren't they suing me? Because they're not innocent. Because I'm right. That's why. And they know it.
Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins. Higgins is who she had the affair with. The Alberts are who owned the house. McCabe is who searched House Long to Die in the Cold. So those are the people that she's suing for basically conspiring to pin this on her, violating her rights, civil conspiracy, trying to pin it on her and literally ruining her life.
That's crazy. You never see that. Never. Because let's face it, 9 times out of 10, more than that, the defendant actually is guilty, maybe got off on a technicality like OJ or jury nullification in OJ's case. And the last thing they want to do is go back into court with anybody. It's like, they know they kind of got away with it. It's like, okay, I'm out of here. But she is not in that posture. She's like, let's go. Now, she also...
See how she's figuring it out? Like, as she walks herself through this, she's like, yeah, that is odd. Like, most people, like, they get acquitted, thank their lucky stars, and they move on. Karen Reed suing them? Yeah, almost like she's really innocent, Almost like she's really innocent.
Appears to need money. Because I'll tell you, we invited her to come in the show.
Oh, boy.
And she wanted tens of thousands of dollars. And we told her, goodbye, madam. We're news people. We don't pay for news, which does make me question how she wound up talking to Dateline and others, because NBC is also not supposed to pay for news. In any event, she clearly is hard up for cash. So maybe it's just a money grab. I don't know. What do you make of it?
Okay. Drama-free Turtleboy. So that's interesting. I get it. I mean, Karen Reed should be trying to monetize as much as she can. I think if this was 6 months ago, certainly, they might have. I mean, she told me that they were off, like that. I don't know, it was People Magazine or somebody offered her money. I'd pay her a lot. I'd pay her a bunch of money for an interview. Yeah, I definitely would, even today. I mean, I bet I could raise like $10,000, 10 G's. to interview Karen Reed. I would do that, right? No, I wouldn't even. I would no like, or I would just give her all the turtle chats I made that night. 100% of turtle chats go to Karen Reed if she came on mine and did an interview. That's what I would do. That's not drama. That's not drama. I'm saying they don't want to fucking pay her. I'll pay her. You know what I mean? I don't have like fuck you money or anything like that, but I would pay. Certainly. So, they're not going to pay. I'd pay. Fuck it. Yeah. I mean, people's time is valuable. Jason, the juror, he goes, he wanted to get paid to come on my show too. And I'm like, I ain't paying you, dude. I ain't paying you, but he made a good case. He's like, he's like, it's not about money. It is about money. He's like that, like, basically he was saying that, like, by coming on your show and doing interview, I'm making myself a target. Like, he's not stupid. He understands, like, if I come on here and I do an interview with you, like, they're going to fucking skewer me, like, he got it. And, and he's like, so I need to get, like, that has to be worth my time if I'm going to take kind of abuse. And I'm like, how much you want? And it was more than I would have given him, like, $500. I would have given him $500 because I can make that in turtle chats. I can justify that, but he wanted more than that. He definitely wanted more than that. And, with Karen Reed, I would pay Karen Reed at least $10,000 to do an interview because because it should be worth her time. She should get paid. She shouldn't be doing free interviews. I think that, and I make money. I mean, this is a for-profit venture that I run here. This isn't a fucking charity. You know what I mean? If she's going to come, like, her time is valuable. So I would pay. I always said that, she should get paid. She shouldn't do shit for free. I mean, Megyn Kelly's like, we're not going to pay her. Yeah. You think we're going to pay you? I mean, you should kind of, I think you should. Why not? It's kind of a big interview, but I think the problem is that it's old. The story's old. I think if the same thing had been offered in June, I think they would have paid. You guys know you would pay for that. Like, if I told you guys, all right, guys, Karen Reed's agreed to come on here and do an interview with me if we can raise 10 grand in the chat. You know how fast we would raise that shit? You know how fast? We might get one donor to do that. Some rich guy would fucking pay for that. You know what I mean? So I would definitely do that. I mean, she deserves to, like, Karen Reed deserves to be paid. She's been through a lot. Okay. She's been, like, she was framed for murder. And then she had to go through 2 fucking trials and shit like that. And so she deserves it. She deserves to get paid. She should be getting paid. And again, I got nothing but love for Karen Reed. Like, everything I said about Karen Reed came from a place of, like, I want her to fucking succeed. I really do. I had this vision for her, like, like, I always thought that when this ended that Karen Reed would fucking make so much money. You know what I mean? That she would just, like, because, like, everyone would be offering her shit, and I hope she does. She deserves it, man. Karen Reed deserves to be rich. You go through what she went through. You deserve to be rich. You deserve it. So I really hope she does, because nobody should go through what she's been through. I mean, imagine that happened to you. Just imagine that. Imagine you got framed for fucking murder, dude. Just think of that. Imagine you were her. Imagine you had to go into that courtroom on June 18th and not know, is this the last time I'm going to see my family? Imagine that. How much would you pay to avoid that? So I really, truly fucking, I'm not saying that because I'm kissing ass and whatever. Like, I've said what I've said before, but that's how I truly feel, is that, like, she deserves to be fucking paid. And I think some of the stuff I said before was like, yeah, like, I was frustrated that she's not doing things to get paid. You know what I mean? But, like, she's worth it. Like, considering what she went through, she deserves it. And that's all I'm saying. Because I've gotten paid. I've earned it. I've earned every dollar I've made, but she also deserves to get paid. So there's that. If that makes sense. I don't know.
There was a lot there. First, I disagree with some of your percentages, but we don't need to get into that. How many of them are actually not guilty? But I do agree with you that most of the time, once it's over, they want it to be done and they don't want to keep rehashing this. Also, millions of dollars in attorney's fees and costs. She sold her house. She's lost everything. She was unhireable for all of these years. So I'm sure she is in need of money. And I think she's entitled to get whatever money she deserves in the civil process. It doesn't bother me one bit. I don't know her personally. I've never spoken to her. So, this is nothing like I know what kind of person she is or anything like that. But if this is true, what she's alleging, then she does deserve to be compensated for it, in my opinion. And I agree with you that she is standing on business basically at this point saying, I have the truth, because she's been threatened and is going to be sued if it hasn't happened already for defamation, saying that she's defaming all of these people, lying about them, creating this false narrative, which was one of the allegations in the O'Keefe complaint, in the wrongful death complaint. They also sued her for intentional infliction of emotional distress, saying she created this false narrative and pushed it out there in the media and that they were injured because of that and she caused them damages. So truth is an ultimate defense to defamation. And that's what she's standing on, that she has the truth. She can prove it. She's got some gumption. She's not afraid. Her lawyers are not afraid. They're sticking with her and pushing forward on this case. And sometimes it's a money grab either way, right? Like when you have a criminal case that you lost as a victim, I know you're not technically a party, and you still go forward on a civil litigation, you can still get a settlement. Often that's what would happen. You wouldn't even go to trial. And from her perspective too, if she just needed money and she's going to file this lawsuit and just get some money out of it, fine. It doesn't seem like that's what it is. And if this ends in a settlement, I'm going to assume it was a huge amount of money.
So have those parties that she's now suing cross-filed against her for defamation yet? Because right now, I thought the only lawsuit she was actively facing was John O'Keefe's family suing her for wrongful death. But have those other parties that she's now messing with cross-filed against her for defamation yet?
They have come out and said publicly that they are going to file defamation cases, but the way it works in these civil courts is she files a complaint, they file their motions to dismiss.
Yeah, the way it works in civil court is like saying you're going to file a lawsuit is not the same thing as actually filing a lawsuit. That's the thing. Oh, we're going to sue any day now. Any day. I feel like Megyn Kelly knew the answer to that question when she asked it.
First, and then if they can't dismiss her lawsuit, then they would file their answer and their counterclaims. So that's coming in due time. I would expect that it is going to come, though.
It's so interesting because the burden of proof is so much lower in civil court, as you point out, 51% more likely than not. And now it's really on. In a way, we heard from the jurors, it was kind of easy for them because they were like, my God, no, they haven't come anywhere near this very high standard of beyond a reasonable doubt. But the prosecution may have come near 51% more likely, 49% less likely that she did it. Or the other way. Could go the other way. I don't know. Like, how do you see this going?
What's really interesting is, you mentioned what you would do if you were Proctor. You put him on the stand, you just eat it, right? They did that the first trial. They also had a much more boring prosecutor, but just kind of a normal prosecutor who put everybody up there and was like, tell us what happened. They repeated the same facts a million times. And while reports from that jury room where they were all not guilty on second-degree murder, there was a split and the majority thought that she was guilty of manslaughter or at least taking his life in some sort of way with the car in that first round of trial, but it ended up being a split verdict and a hung jury. And everybody changed their way. And I think the defense was much more successful round two. I think they would have won regardless round two because they didn't try to prove the conspiracy within that criminal trial, which can be very difficult. It can kind of burden shift and confuse the jury. But just like you're saying, there were some jurors that thought that she did hit him with her car throughout the first trial. So there's obviously the possibility that that could be proven in a civil court, but you would be amazed and appalled at the discovery that was not turned over in the first trial, that was turned over before the second trial. At the discovery they're going to be able to get in this civil litigation that they did not get their hands on in the criminal case. I think there are going to be so many added factors and facts during the civil process that I'm not sure we know exactly what it's going to look like yet.
So glad to tell you about Delta Rest or New Civilization Kings. We mentioned a couple of these witnesses who were inside that house, the McAlberts and the McCabe's.
Now we're going to get to the good
They
stuff.
spoke out after the not guilty verdict in June. Let's take a listen to what they sounded like.
Here we go.
SOT 56.
I love this shit. I love
People turn this thing into a tailgate party, it looked like some days. Board games, cornhole, cookouts.
Okay, first of all, board games, cornhole, cookouts. Okay, I was there every day. Never once saw a board game. Never. We weren't playing Clue or Monopoly or anything like that. Board game. What else did he say? Cornhole? Did any boots on the ground bring cornhole? I must have missed the cornhole day. That sounded fun. I wish there was cornhole. Cookouts? Did I miss I didn't see any grills down there. We would bring food in sometimes. I did not see any grills. There was no grilling it up. We catered it. I brought a bunch of food from Sullivan's one time, at Castle Island. Like we would get shit from, Dudley House of Pizza, but there was no cookout. So none of those things are true, Brian Albert.
This is a guy that was murdered. And
By you.
It's atrocious for that family.
What they've done.
This is a guy that was murdered by you. Yeah, we know. Imagine being Brian Albert up there. You killed a man and your dog fucking chewed him up, which proves that you were involved, because why the fuck would the dog chew him up if you're not involved? And you have the audacity to go on TV and be like, this man was murdered. Yeah, by you. We know. You know he was murdered. You fucking murdered him. You threw his fucking lawn in the body of the lawn like trash.
As they've dehumanized us to the sense where we're not real people.
You're not real people. Look at you. Look at you. We're not. First of all, look what you guys are wearing. What are you all wearing? You're going on national television. None of you guys could throw on a sport coat? Just a simple button down with a sport coat and a nice pair of slacks? You couldn't do that? Look at the outfits these guys have on. You got Brian Albert, who looks like he's, getting ready for Wednesday night bowling league. Look at him. Like he's dressed like Homer Simpson. Look at him. What is this shirt? All right. And then you got Chris Albert over here. I don't even know what brand polo shirt this is. Why has he got it buttoned up so high? Right? It's one of the ugliest fucking colors I've ever seen. Right? Is it tucked in? Is it not tucked in? She's wearing thong sandals, right? With their Irish poverty face. This guy's guts hanging out here. I mean, they went on national television. They're like, we're going on national television. And this is what we're going to get dressed up like we're going out bowling. That's what they did. He's dressed like Homer fucking Simpson. Look at these guys. And he goes, they don't even treat us like real people. They treat us like what?
We're almost like caricatures.
What? What are we almost like, Chris? Hold on. What is that word?
We're pawns. Have each of you been?
It's atrocious.
Hold on. I'm going to playback speed, regular speed. Maybe I should do 0.75.
It's for that family.
What they is they've dehumanized us to the sense where we're not real people. We're almost like caricatures.
Caricatures? How do you say that word, Chris?
We're almost like caricatures.
Caricatures. I think he said character, like the word character. Churs. Character-chures. That's what he just said. Not caricature. The word is caricature, by the way. He thinks it's called character-chures. I want to one more time. One more time there, Chris.
To the sense where we're not real people. We're almost like caricatures.
Caricatures? Caricatures? The funny part about that is that's not even a fuck up on his part. That's how he thinks the word's pronounced. Caricatures. One more time. Caricatures. You're definitely a bunch of caricatures.
We're almost like caricatures.
You are caricatures. You are. All of you guys. You guys are like straight out of Central Casting. Look at you. I mean, just especially you, Chris. Look at you. Just look at you. You're all so bald, right? You're all fat. You're gross, right? You're douchebags. You are literally caricatures. That's all. You guys are all a bunch of caricatures. And I'm so glad you did this interview. I'm so glad you dressed like this and acted like this, because we're looking at you guys and we're like, yeah, those motherfuckers are guilty as fuck. Nobody feels bad for these people at all.
We're pawns. Have each of you been called murderers? Like actual murderers?
Oh, yeah. On a daily basis.
Anybody who's
on a daily basis, he's like on a daily basis, because I killed a man. That's what happens when you kill a man. You get called a murderer. Now, no, in fairness, Chris Albert gets called a murderer Because he murdered someone, because he killed someone. I feel like that's kind of important. His name's Peter Berger. He's the only one of the 5 people up there that was not allegedly in the house that night. So he's the only one that has a free pass from the John O'Keefe thing, except he also killed a man. Like, that's fucking crazy. Because you got 4 people there who were inside a house where a man was killed. And then the other guy happened to kill a man independent of that. So they're all called murderers because that's what they did. And keep in mind, if that's the worst thing that happened to you, at least you didn't get, charged and framed with murder. You got that going for you. Because Karen Reed has been called a murderer many times, and she didn't murder anyone. So that's the difference. That's the difference, folks.
This case has been called a murder at some point.
And anyone who's friends with us support cop killers.
Yeah, everyone who's friends with us supports cop killers. Exactly. Thank you. Such a good point.
The name Turtleboy.
Oh, here we go.
Comes up a lot.
Here we
when
go.
Talk about what was happening outside the courthouse and the generation of a groundswell of opposition to the people you just saw on camera there, the people who are inside the house, including cops and their wives and so on. Who's Turtleboy?
Okay, stop right there. When I heard this yesterday for the first time, and I heard Megyn Kelly say my name. You know what that feels like? They're like somebody that you really admire and that somebody you've been listening to for years knows your fucking name. You know how cool that is? That was like the validation I needed right there. That made me feel so good, right? And I'm not going to lie, right? Because there's been a lot of down lately, and there's a lot of people, Turtleboy did this. It's like, bitch, Megyn Kelly said my fucking name, motherfucker. And it's kind of hard to tell this story without saying the name Turtleboy. It's just a fact. And then listen to what Peter says here.
So first, just to comment on what they're saying, I think it's horrible that people's lives get ruined and people get accused of things like this with very little evidence and, go after their kids and their livelihoods and things like that. I also think that there are some fair criticisms, like the Alberts who lived in the house never came outside the entire morning when there were all these EMS people and
I love what he says right there. Yeah, okay, first of all, harassment bad. Disclaimer, harassment bad. But also they kind of make a good point. Like, bitch, you never came out of the house. What's up with that? I did. I got so turned on when Megyn Kelly said my name, and she did say Turtleboy. I'd rather her say Turtleboy, quite frankly. You have no idea what that did for me. Whew.
witnesses and everything outside, and their friend is dead on their front lawn.
She's not a brunette.
They never come outside to try to help.
Why?
They both have emergency, or I know he has emergency training, was former law enforcement. That stuff is really strange to me and hard for me to get over. And the way they spoke about John O'Keefe, somebody that was supposed to be their friend, there's just so much strange stuff going on. Turtleboy is a journalist.
Yes. Turtleboy is a journalist, motherfucker. What was the point thing again?
Listen, Turtle. All right.
Yes. That's the bell right there. Turtleboy is a journalist, not a blogger, not a YouTuber. Turtleboy is a journalist because that's what Judge Doolin ruled I am in his May 2025 ruling. Turtleboy is a journalist. Let's fucking go.
Who looked into this case, found witnesses nobody knew about, like a tow truck or a plow driver that potentially had evidence that could help Karen Reed, that held everybody's feet to the fire, that was very loud with a megaphone about it, that had his specific crass way of doing things. And, he's almost like a caricature where he says the most hyperbolic thing he possibly can. He calls everybody every name in the book. He uses language that, would make sailors probably turn red. And he does it a certain way. And a lot of people don't like it. And he has caught...
That would make sense. I want to hear that one more
some
time.
witnesses he possibly can. He calls everybody ever to the fire, that was very loud with a megaphone about it, that had his specific crass way of doing things. And, he's almost like a caricature where he says the most hyperbolic thing.
It's called caricature, sure. But yes.
He possibly can. He calls everybody every name in the book.
Yep.
He uses language that, would make...
Notice he's like smiling when he says it though. He's like, yeah, it's kind of funny though, he's like thinking about some of the names, and he's like, that show was kind of funny. I kind of like that. Like, I wouldn't do it because that's not my style, but like, he likes me, bro.
Like sailors probably turn red, and he does it a certain way, and a lot of people don't like it, and he has caught.
And he runs a sex cult, actually, Megan. He actually runs a sex cult. People pay $15 a month to be in his sex cult. I swear to God. There's like thousands of people who join a sex cult. I don't know what they do because I'm not in the sex cult, but I heard it's fucking wild.
Some witness intimidation charges, because the statute is really kind of weird there in Massachusetts with that.
I like how he throws that in there. Yeah, like he was charged with witness intimidation, but it's kind of weird. He's like, I don't have time to get into how fucked up that statute is, but it's just kind of weird. It's not like he's like charged with like witness intimidation, but it's like he's not really intimidating witnesses. It's just kind of like a weird thing that they're trying to jam him up on. Like, I don't have time. He gets it.
But he has uncovered so much evidence that people did not know about, and people know about Karen Reed's case and exponentially more because of Turtleboy. So it's kind of like a love him or hate him, he is who he is type of scenario for him.
What you're saying is, God forbid I ever get accused of a crime, I want Turtleboy on my side.
Yes. I'd say he's a pretty good ally to have until he's not.
Oh, dude, one more time. One more
scenario for him.
What you're saying is, God forbid I ever get accused of a crime, I want Turtleboy on my side.
I would say he's a pretty good ally to have until he's not.
Okay, that did it for me, bro. You thought my smile was big at the beginning when she said my name? When she said that, dream come true. Like, this isn't like some reporter that is, cool, thanks for saying that. It's like when it's one of your favorites. Megyn Kelly is one of my favorites. She's always been, right? And she said that. That is like the fucking greatest thing. She's like, if I get framed for murder, I want Turtleboy. And what did Peter say? What did he say here? Well, like,
he is who he is type of scenario for him.
What you're saying is, God forbid I ever get accused of a crime, I want Turtleboy on my side.
I would say he's a pretty good ally to have until he's not.
I would say he's a pretty good ally to have until he's not. A lot of the antis or the people that don't like me quoted that because they're like, what are they getting at there? What does he mean by that? He's a pretty good ally until he's not, right? And I think, doesn't that apply to everyone? Isn't that just a general life lesson? Like, yeah, I'm a good ally unless you like fuck with me. That's all. Don't like turn on me and talk shit on me, and whatever, and then we'll be good. We'll be good. Like, he's a pretty good ally until he's not. Exactly. Like, who wouldn't be like that? And when it counts, when it matters, I've always been an ally to Karen Reed. Always. My criticism of Karen Reed has come after she was acquitted, when there's not much to work, there's no longer the impending jailing. You know what I mean? So I felt more comfortable criticizing her at that time because she was free. You know what I mean? That's it. And most of the criticism, again, came from a place of love. It really fucking did. And I know that these idiots out there are going to be mad about that because they don't want that. What they would hate more than anything is me and Karen getting along again. Nothing would ever, because they're like, they've kind of capitalized on like, no, we got ownership now. She's not a fucking prize to be won, bro. And you don't have the history that her and I do. So we'll see about that. We'll see.
Okay. And he was at both trials.
Yeah, I think he's been at everything, and his whole case, people are now following as well, his criminal charges that are going on. I've actually gotten to know his lawyer, one of his lawyers a little bit, Mark Bederow, who's an amazing lawyer.
Bederow got a shout out.
I've talked about this Karen Reed case a lot with him. So I know he's got great representation, and they've already won. A couple of the criminal cases have been dropped because the DA and the law enforcement there just can't get out of their own way. They have all these prosecutors that are conflicted off cases. Nobody could end up prosecuting one of Turtleboy's cases, so they just had to drop it. So it's a whole other separate saga himself.
He wanted to mention, he's like, so she got sued. There's this person named Lindsay Gattani who got tossed in the mix there, and then there's a thing called the towel. And the two of them combined to like come up with this plan to sue Cosgrove. And it really wasn't their plan, but it actually led to 2 indictments being charged and dropped, and possibly all of them. But that wasn't like the plan. It was just like a towel. Like there's this thing called the towel, and he smokes a lot of pot. And he's Wendy Murphy's mom, and he's now beefing with Wendy Murphy because she wants him to pay rent, and he's disabled. And so then the towel just smoked a whole lot of ganja, and is like convinced Lindsay to sue the prosecutor and the lead detective because she got sued by Turtleboy. And then here we are. Like, there's a whole backstory like that would just like, I would love to see Megyn Kelly, if you're out there, now that you know my name, you should have me on sometime. I won't ask for any money. I don't want to get paid. I'll do it for free. I would just love to talk to you because that would, you've already made my fucking day. You can make it a little. I would love to go on your program, your presentations. If you'd have me, I'd be honored.
So if you're teaching this class in a law school, Peter, what would you say this case is about?
How not to investigate and prosecute a case. I think I could do a lot of sessions on the appropriate way, what ethics look like. Even if you think somebody is guilty, if you can't put the lead investigator on and you can't put half your evidence on because you don't trust it yourself, maybe you shouldn't be prosecuting this case. And not staking your career and risking it all on one case and realizing mistakes will be made in life and we just have to let the chips fall where they may. As a criminal defense attorney, you learn to fight, to dig, even if the judge sometimes can be very difficult, even when it seems like everything is stacked against you. It's also a lesson in PR, like the way the defense attorneys have done their interviews and set up Karen Reed to do interviews in ways that I disagree with. I would never have had Karen Reed do any interviews. They said they welcomed them being played at trial. So it could be some lessons on that. Some great lessons on cross-examination, some great lessons on civil litigation, how to try to get federal documents where you request them from the federal government and then try to show them as unbiased third party, bringing experts into the case, investigating an investigation. So many interesting nuances to this case that law students could learn from, but you don't always want to learn from the exception, right?
Well, what you said about the star witness reminded me of something. When I was a young lawyer, I tried a civil case in upstate New York, and we were so clearly in the right on the civil case. It was just so obvious that our guy was telling the truth and the other party wasn't, because we knew our star witness very, very well, and we knew his entire employment history and all this stuff. But the judges always try to push a settlement in a civil case, and in a criminal case too. They try to push you to take a plea if you're at all open-minded, so they don't have to try it to verdict. It's much better resolution where it's agreed to. And he was looking at the other side, pointing out like all the evidence that they were in the wrong. And then I said, what's he going to say when he looks at us? Because we're in the catbird seat here. And he said, "How do you like your lead witness?" And the judge was exactly right, because even though the facts were totally on our side, our star witness was not likable. And the judge knew it. And we stuck by him. Of course, we were like, oh, he's good, he's fine. He wasn't. The jury didn't like him, and they found against us. We got it reversed on appeal. But he wasn't wrong. Like, having a bad chief witness can make or break your case. And in this case, the prosecution had, it sounds like, a terrible chief witness, whether it was just juvenile talk on those texts or not. The reason he got fired is because he cost them this investigation.
Yeah. Yep. And it wasn't just the text message. There's just so much more than that. But, the number one thing is probably the roles of each job of a lawyer, because you just described the civil situation. And as a criminal defense lawyer, the way you want to look at it and what your duty is and how you try a case, how you handle a case, all of those roles are incredibly different than a prosecutor, who is only there to find truth and justice. And sometimes that's making hard decisions and letting people you think might be guilty go and not prosecuting those cases because you have all the leverage, all the power to ruin people's lives. There's very little repercussion when you lose. And that's a very big responsibility and power that you have as a prosecutor that makes that job very different than a criminal defense lawyer or any type of civil lawyer. And that, to me, was where this case could have been handled more appropriately.
It's crazy to me that there was no ring camera on anybody's door.
Yes!
Like, everything's on cam these days.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there was some talk that there was a ring camera and then there wasn't. And maybe somebody accessed the ring camera and maybe they didn't.
Oh, but there was ring cameras, Megyn. They just didn't ask to look at them. Yes. See, she gets it. Peter educated her.
And somebody across the street had a ring camera.
Or even on your car. Doesn't your car have one of those things? Like, there's a camera on my car now that shows me what's happening behind you.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. There's cameras all over the place, but somehow during that period of time, there was no camera on any house in that neighborhood that could have caught it, or even back
yes,
at
there
John
was.
O'Keefe's house.
That's wrong, Peter. Keller's house. They just didn't even ask for it, because Gallagher's like, oh yeah, I didn't even ask. He said it was no good. What? Bullshit.
There was some ring camera, but not that could show anything that we needed to show to prove the accident.
Why not? They didn't ask.
This
to look
case
at it.
is a mystery. I'd love to know the truth. You know, it's like usually I hear these stories and I'm like, I have a pretty good idea what happened. This one, I remain uncertain. Really don't know. And I mean, I haven't been persuaded by anything I've heard that she intentionally killed him. I'm open-minded to the theory that in her anger, she backed up too quickly and ran him over and either didn't realize it or did and didn't care. But
yeah,
I haven't heard anything that would lead me to believe she's an intentional murderer who would just take out her anger by killing somebody.
That was just a mistake.
How would she say that? Why would she say I'm open-minded to that? Wait, one more time. Hold on.
For them to even go for that was such
ran him over. Really don't know. And I mean, I haven't been persuaded by anything I've heard that she intentionally killed him.
I haven't been persuaded by anything I've heard that she intentionally killed him.
I'm open-minded to the theory that in her anger, she backed up too quickly and ran him over. And
what? Why would you be open-minded to that after everything? No, Meg, stop it. Okay, she needs to have me on.
Either didn't realize it or did and didn't care. But I haven't heard anything that would lead me to believe she's an intentional murderer who would just take out her anger by killing somebody.
That was just a mistake. For them to even go for that was such a mistake. They were never going to be able to prove anything like that. And I'll tell you the number one thing, and again, it's probably based on my experience, what I do so much of seeing injuries in these pedestrian accidents, it is just so far from anything I think is remotely scientifically or physically possible for that Lexus to just break on the taillight, not have any other dents and damages on it, and then the injuries that corresponded to John O'Keefe. And we didn't even get into the bite marks versus scratch marks or any of that, but the injuries just
an animal may have attacked him.
Yeah, they just don't line up to me, the injuries, for it to be a car accident the way that the prosecution described, and that's so hard for me to get over.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much, Peter Trago. So good to see you again. This has been the most clear, easy to understand explanation of a very complex case I think I've ever heard. It makes me miss you all the more. Thanks for being back with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me today. Coming up tomorrow, Maureen Callahan, host of...
Oh, God. Oh, the no-neck hoe. Oh, God. You can't have the no-neck hoe on. But at least she had Peter on instead of the no-neck hoe. That no-neck hoe doesn't know what she's talking about. Okay. I want to get into Steph Diggs thing before we're done, but let me just read some turtle chats here real quick. Okay. All right, Jen T sends $5, goes, Mike Cryford has been telling everyone on Twitter to send a $5 turtle chat. It's the only sane thing he said in months. Happy New Year, Turtleboy, and drama-free looks good on you. You know, exactly. Like, Crawford's testing me. You know what I mean? Some of his antics are out there, but not today, Satan. Not today. I don't care how ridiculous you are. I don't care what the ridiculous things you say about Mark Bederow. I don't care about any of that shit. Like, that's bait. I know bait when I see it. Not happening. Not happening. They had the chance to say all the shit before I went drama free, and none of them were saying it. Now a lot of them are saying it. That's bait. Not gonna happen. But I do appreciate the fact that he's encouraging people to send $5 turtle chats, because we do not accept payments less than $5. I don't know if that's like a thing, if that's a weird thing. It's like, that's always been my thing, because some people like to do like dollar turtle chats and they write a long fucking thing. I ain't reading all that for $1. I'm not some cheap whore. I'm a $5 whore. Okay. Thank you. Next. Gypsy Soul Astro Photos sends $10, goes, lawyer, is how I found the Kearney case. Turtleboy is why I stayed. Free Turtleboy. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Mike Crawford sends $5 and says, I challenge you to a bench press competition. Your physique appears considerably less developed. What? Furthermore, I observed you in the gay village surrounded by a group of men, which contradicts my previous understanding that you were heterosexual. Hey, my assumption, not that there's anything wrong with that. My assumption about your orientation was evidently incorrect. I could definitely outbench Crawford. Stop it. I could bench 300 pounds, believe it or not. People don't believe that. I will videotape. I can bench 300 pounds. Next time I'm at the gym, I'm gonna have somebody videotape me doing it. I swear to God. You don't believe me? I could do that. 300 pounds. Not even shitting you. I usually get up. I go up to 285, and I can do between 5 and 7 sets of 285, which means when you extrapolate that, that's over 300. So I got that going for me. Okay, next. I don't think that's really him. So if that's the same person, I don't think that's Crawford. Disclaimer. I don't think Crawford's actually giving me $10 tonight, but I appreciate the thought. Thank you. Next. Marie sends $5, goes, you are a lot, but you're great. Well, thank you, Marie. Appreciate that. Brittany sends $10 and goes, hi, Turtleboy. Happy 2026. I have a question. You do not need to read out loud. I know you are drama free. No. The answer to your question is no, Brittany. Thank you. Ellen sends $50 and goes, happy holidays, Turtleboy. Drama-free turtle. It looks so good on you. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate you guys supporting me in my drama-free truth journey. It without you guys and my sponsors, this would be very difficult. But like actually hearing the feedback that you guys appreciate the drama-free makes me feel good, you know? Because it's like you just got to be above it, you know? And I know this is going to make them upset. And I know that because they think it's fake or whatever. And it's not, you owe this person. That's between me and that person. If they, you owe this person an apology, that's between me and that person, not between me and the internet. Like, I don't like the whole, you owe the internet. I don't owe the internet shit. I'll never owe the internet shit, period. You know? So there's that. Thank you. Next. Yeah, although sometimes it is nice. Like I apologized to Nurse Kim one time because I felt bad. I got her jammed up in something, you know, and I said I was sorry because I said it privately, but I also wanted to be known publicly. Because she expressed her frustration with me publicly. So I'm like, I want it to be like on the record, like, hey, my bad. Like, it's important as a leader to let the public know that you can admit when you're wrong. Well, you can admit when you fuck up, right? And it's really important when you fuck up to own it. That doesn't make me like a great person for doing that, right? But it's the right thing to do. And I think more people should do that. Just admit when they're wrong. Especially when you hurt somebody. Like, even if it's unintentional and they're like a nice person like Nurse Kim and you hurt them, it's really just say sorry, period. That's it. Because she's worth it. Exactly. That's a good way to, she's worth it. She's like, I like her. She's a friend. I don't want to see her hurt. And if I did something or didn't do something that caused her to get hurt, then I should be sorry for that. And that's normal. It's okay to say sorry for shit, period. Next. Farty Marty sends $10, goes, hey, hi Kryford. Hey, Kryford, you no-ass bitch. Okay, well, that's kind of funny. It's a little pun there. So we'll allow that one. Thank you. Robert sends $25, goes, loophole lawyer thinks that Higgins killed John outside the house. Yeah, I don't agree with him. My problem with his theory is, why didn't Karen see it? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of things wrong with that theory. Thank you. Eileen sends $10, goes, can't wait to hear your POV on Diggs. Yeah, we'll get to that. Thank you. Lallygag sends $10, goes, I'm in shock that you were the only platform Megyn Kelly mentioned. I'm surprised she didn't mention the young jerks. By the way, I hope you do a Turtleboy at the Park meetup this spring at the Woo Sox. We could turn it into a fundraiser. Yeah, maybe. I love the Woo Sox. And, you know, that's a good point. I mean, I wonder if that bothers them. It's like that, like, you know, isn't that the validation right there? Like that I was kind of like essential to the story getting out there and like the crowds and everything. Like, I feel like I'm not just tooting my own horn when I say it was kind of important, you know, just saying. Next, Tattoo sends $5 and goes, Matt's finger bangs are so stylish. Okay. Gangbang, finger bang, Maddie McCabe. Who the fuck laughs during an interview of a deceased fellow officer? Douchebag Maddie. Okay. Anonymous sends $7 and goes, listen, Turtle, I know you don't do essays, but this is an important public announcement. Dear all listeners, writers, haters, and those in between, journalists are for us. They protect the public. Without them, power operates in dark and abuse goes unchecked. Turtleboy has been charged with witness intimidation, yet there were no threats, no bribes, and no attempts to change testimony. What he did, naming people, asking uncomfortable questions, and applying pressure through exposure, is aggressive journalism and activism, and it happens every day without being criminalized. If the state succeeds here, journalists will become too afraid to ask questions, and the only people protected will be those with something to hide. That doesn't just affect Turtleboy, it affects all of us. You don't have to like him to support him. If Turtleboy loses, the public loses. Amen, Anonymous. I'm with you on that one. You know, he goes by Frank. Oh, what's up, stupid April? That's not true. That's not true. It's not a competition either. He's a great attorney, okay? That's all you need to know about Mark Bederow. He's a great attorney that I need on my case because nobody can do what he does. It's like impossible to, like, why did I hire Mark Bederow? I didn't hire him for like clout or anything like that. I hired him for the same reason Karen Reed wanted to hire him. Because he's fucking smart. He's like so fucking smart and analytical. And like, you hear him explain shit and you're like, it's like, yes, Law Daddy, speak to me. You know what I mean? He just explains it so well. And this case in particular is an internet case. Like there are so many people you have to explain to really understand what's happening here. Okay, so what's a crusty panties, right? Like what's like you have to know you got to know what these people tweet. You got to know everything. There's just so much to it. You got to know, oh, what did Bukaki, he tweeted? What did he tweet? You got to keep up with this shit. There's so much shit on the internet. You need a lawyer who is very active on social media and he's quick. He's intellectually quick. That's a good way to put it. So I didn't hire Bederow because he's like internet famous or anything like that. Because there's a lot of lawyers that are internet famous. I hired him because I'm like, that guy's got a brilliant analytical mind. And that guy, that's what I need. This is not a one lawyer job. Like you can't just replicate that. I can't just take, like, Marty Weinberg's a great attorney. I don't know if Marty Weinberg could do my case because he's not on the internet, I assume. You know, I spoke with Marty Weinberg. He was on my short list of lawyers that was referred to me. And he couldn't do it, you know, but I'm not convinced that he would have been the right person for the job just because it takes a special kind, you know, it takes a special kind. And that's why I wanted Bederow. Bederow had to be the guy, had to be. And a friend of mine told me that he did the unthinkable. He made me sympathetic. Like that's what the Bederow letters did. She's like, I didn't really understand your case until the Bederow letters. Like it just perfectly summed it all up. Like, wow, this is fucked up. He wrote the first Bederow letter 2 months into the job. Like he just went digging. Oh, here's all the grand jury stuff. Here's all this. Dig, look into this shit. Read it all. And like, he just had questions like, wait, what happened? So, okay, can I get this? Can I get this? And you give it to him and he just fucking starts writing. And the next thing you know, you are a sympathetic victim somehow in this. That's how it came out. I'm like, yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's why I think that, you know, a lot of these people are like, you know, I think that like the attacks on him by enemies of mine are like, because they're like, not enemies is the wrong word. By people who are trying to do me harm because they realize like that's the guy. Like that guy is essential to Turtleboy's case. And I feel bad because the same thing happens with Bradel. I feel like Bradel's gotten attacked by the judge in the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case, right? Because he's my lawyer. You know, I do think that. And I think the same is happening. Like, it's not, leave my lawyers alone. Let them do their fucking job. That's all I'm saying. You know, let them do their job. All right, let me read some cash apps and we'll get into Steph Diggs real quick. Let's see. Cash App. It is an awesome team. And that's like Bradle, it's like they just have a different vibe to them. You know what I mean? Bradle's the local guy who knows the judges, knows the courts. Like, that's essential. He knows how shit works around here, like in ways that Bederow doesn't. So they both bring different things to the table. Let's put it that way. All right. Amy sends $50 and goes, "Not today, Satan." Amen, sister. Diane sends $25 and goes, "Oh, fuck Mike. I know you're drama free, but I am not." Okay. Thank you, Diana. Ashley Flood sends $100. Woo, and just says, "Cheers." Oh, cheers, Ashley. Appreciate that. All right, cool. If anybody else wants their messages read, click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me $, Uncle Turtleboy, and we can do it that way. All right, let me pull up Steph Diggs. We got to talk about this. And by the way, I also tweeted out a couple things that made people really upset, but I did want to take a minute to talk about this because I thought this is really credit where it's due. And again, this is what's making people mad, the positivity. But sorry, guys, I'm not going to be negative just because you want me to. You know, not going to happen. So, Karen Reed's our Nikki Haircuts channel is coming out, and or with Karen Reed, the Reed Report, and it's featuring Nikki Haircuts and Karen Reed and Alan Jackson. I don't know what that means. If it's going to be the three of them every week, but I'll be watching. Of course, everyone will be watching, and because remember, we're all team. I'm still team Karen Reed, always have been. But I was really happy. I watched some of their promotional videos, and like, it was really cool to see. Like, this image was on there, like, and I'm like, that is fucking cool. Like, look, there's no way this image gets on there without Karen Reed's like approval. So this is me protesting outside D&E Pizza. Is one of my September 22nd, like a couple weeks before I was arrested. And I'm protest. I started alone. A big crowd ended up coming down. And I'm like, Jim Farris is rude. And, you know, like, look at the other sides. Chris Albert killed a man. Blood pizza. Loser. You know, there's a dog there too. Colin was in the house. This made it in. I got indicted for this. And the fact that they put this in their intro, that was pretty cool. That means they're like not, this is part of it, man. They're not like ashamed of it, you know? This is part of it. It's a big part of it. And then this was one of my favorite moments of all time in the Karen Reed movement. This was our first protest outside of the courthouse, July 25th, 2023. Outside of that hearing, I had my megaphone that day. That was before they put tape on the stairs, because the first time we protested at a hearing, who does that? And we booed Carl. It was a good time. And and then we're all standing there with the megaphone. The truck kept going by with the Free Karen Reed stuff on it. And then this dump truck comes by, stops in the middle of the road, puts the fucking thing, a bed up, and it just says Free Karen Reed. And the crowd went wild when this happened. This was the awesomest shit. The driver got out, put his hands up in the air. Dude, this was the awesomest shit to see in real time. Fucking history right here. This is great. This like brought me back, dude, seeing this shit. I'm like, yes, this is how it all began. This is the grassroots shit, man. This is the beginning of boots on the ground. Like showing up in person to protest. The rolling rally was 3 days before this, right? I got dinner with Mac Gutman 2 days before this, and he was down there. And, you know, he heard all about it. And he was like, you know, he seemed to believe that Karen Reed was 100% innocent. And so this shit brought me back seeing this stuff. I'm like, yes, this is fucking awesome. That's a good sign, man. It's a really good sign, I think. And I know that's going to make some people angry, right? But guess what? The people that are angered by this, they weren't even around in July of 2023. They weren't even talking about this story in July of 2023. It was just me. I was the only content creator doing this in July of 2023. And Plevin. Plevin was actually the only other one. And he was on the fence back in July of 2023. I think in August he switched up. But we had him there for a bit. Okay. And then there was this one. This was also July of 2023. And this one really makes him mad because I'm like, yeah. I mean, say what you want. I've criticized Nick Rocco before, but nobody's doubting that Nick Rocco was there. He's like a day one guy. You know what I mean? He's followed Turtleboy since before Karen Reed. And yeah, I mean, he was there right out. He was at the courthouse. He was always out. He was at every fucking court hearing and with his wife, Jenna. And yeah, we were out there and he organized a lot of the signs. I don't even know all the signs that we had and the truck that he had going by there. It was great. It was great. So I thought this was like a really good, I was really happy to see all these pictures and stuff in the, I'm not crying, but like, it's just, whatchamacallit here. I'm not getting like emotional. I'm not doing that. I'm not one of those. I don't fake cry on my YouTube presentations, but I just have a little cold. He did the billboard too. He did the billboard too. So yeah, credit where credit's due. All right. So this is Steph Diggs. So first of all, you guys don't know who Steph Diggs is. Probably a Hall of Famer. Great receiver from the Minnesota Vikings, Buffalo Bills, and he had a 1-year stint with the Texans, and he didn't do much with them. So basically his career was just about over, and then he came to New England, and he's good again. He had a great year. He's our best receiver, and he's been a huge part of the process of making the Patriots great again, and of course, now he has been charged with choking his cook, his chef, okay, in Dedham. Apparently he lives in Dedham. And so he went in front of a judge in Dedham, not Palmerall, Judge G. Marie Carroll, and he's been charged with slapping or I don't even know what the charge is, right? And I saw this, and I'm like, okay, this is my first read of this report. Now, the first person I think of when I saw this is Jabril Peppers. Last year, Jabril Peppers, safety for the Patriots, who got cut in training camp. He missed like the end of the year because he got arrested for smacking a hoe. And he took it to trial and he was acquitted. He was innocent, right? So just because you get arrested for smacking a hoe doesn't mean you smacked a hoe. Let's to be very clear. Okay. And so I'm going to be fair. I will give, victims a chance to be heard and believe victims and all that shit, but also innocent until proven guilty, Yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to smack a cook. I'm not saying it's justified. So let's see. Let's see what happens. All right. Her name's Mila Adams. Okay. Mila Adams on December 16th entered the station to report a past incident. She appeared emotional and was hesitant to give a statement. She asked for a female officer. I checked the scheduling sheets and saw that we didn't have a female. I let her know that I told her that I'd give her a few minutes to think about things, that I understood she was uncomfortable speaking to me. After a few minutes, she said that she would give the report to me. I brought her into the interview room off the lobby. Is this the beginning of the report? Yeah, it is. Yeah. After taking out her information, I asked her to tell me in her own words what happened. She was hesitant to reveal a suspect initially, but I told her that I could take a statement and we would talk about that later. She went on to say that on December 2nd, 2 weeks later, she was working as a private chef at 7 Schoolmaster Lane in Dedham. I want to see where that is. I want to see where Steph Diggs lives. 7 Schoolmaster Lane, Dedham. Where in Dedham is that? Oh, he lives like way barely in Dedham. He lives like right in the Newton line, or the Needham line, rather. Must be a big house. Oh, this is Steph. Yeah, he's got a nice crib. Nice crib he's got there. Okay. All right. Anyway, I just checked it out. You can Google it. I didn't dox him. I didn't dox Diggs. Plus, he's probably renting. He's not going to be here that long. I mean, Diggs is a rental. He's going to be here like a year or two because he's over 30. You know, so it only lasts that long. All right. She said that on this date, the male that she worked for entered her unlocked bedroom. They've been having an ongoing text exchange over money owed to Adams. She said that they began to discuss this, which apparently angered the male. She alleges that the male then smacked her across the face. She said she tried to push him away. The male then tried to choke her using the crook of his elbow around her neck. She said that he was behind her with his arm wrapped around her, and that she did feel like she had trouble breathing and that she could have blacked out. She said that as he tried to pry his arm away, he tightened his grip. At that point, the male threw her onto the bed. He said something to the effect of, "Thought so," and then told him that she still hasn't been paid. What? Wouldn't you say that before? What? Why? So he just went in there and just choked a bitch? At that point, the male said lies and walked out of the room. She explained to me that he needs to sign off on payments in order for her to be paid, which is why she confronted him directly. I asked her if she had documented any injuries when this occurred. She said she had some redness on her upper chest area, but didn't take photos. At this point, Adams revealed the male's name was Steph Diggs, currently of the New England Patriots. Due to his fame, she was very hesitant to come forward. I inquired about the details of her employment so I could understand the relationship. She said that she began the private chef on around 7/20 and that her employment was supposed to go through the end of the NFL football season. She said she's normally paid by wire transfer, and the initial agreement was for weekly pay. She said that she has since been working there. She has been getting paid monthly instead. As of now, she said she still believes she is owed a month's pay. In early November, she was told by Diggs that her employment was not needed for the week of 11/7 to 11/14. But they have an away game that week. This meant she would have to vacate her room for a week because he was having house guests. Cardi B, maybe. He told her to go home, and she said she didn't provide any financial assistance for a flight to blank. He told her to go home, and he didn't give her any money for a flight home. That is where she was going to stay with a friend. She said that since she didn't have to ask to be sent home for the week, she should still get paid her salary. She said it's standard. Okay. Fair. But that's between you and him. Unless it's in the contract, though. You know? You don't just get to say that. I mean, I'm with you, but again, I've never had my own chef. I wish I did. I need a chef. I need a boat and a chef. That's how you made it. All right. So after the alleged assault, no, I read that. Yeah. She left her position and left the residence to stay with a friend. She said that on 12/9, she returned to the house to get her property. At that point, she texted with Diggs, who told her to take up the monetary sum with his assistant. She spoke to Melissa from finance. I need a Melissa from finance, who explained that Diggs had requested a signed NDA from Adams before she could be paid. Adams didn't sign any such document. Okay. So she wouldn't sign an NDA to get paid. I told Adams that we could proceed with an investigation and file charges, but she said that she did not want any charges at this time. I told her that as a victim, an officer would be following up regardless. I let her know that if her mind changed, we could certainly go ahead with further investigation and charges. I also explained the process to her in regard to obtaining an RO. She said that she didn't wish to seek one. She said she just wanted to go home and had no intentions of returning. Adams was also going to email me any screenshots related to her incident at her convenience. Okay. These were returned to me and added to the incident. The screenshots were sent and added. They came from a different number than initially provided. Okay. When I inquired about this discrepancy, Adams identified this as a number where she had communicated with Diggs in the past. On 12/20 at 9:45, I spoke with Adams over the phone. We discussed how she would like to proceed. As of this date, she still wanted to hold off on any criminal charges being filed. She asked that I reach out to Diggs and ask him not to contact her anymore. She said that earlier in the week, she received a voicemail and texts from a female that she believed to be Diggs' girlfriend, Cardi B. Based on these messages, Adams believed that Diggs somehow knew the police were contacted. Sorry. The messages stated something to the effect of, "You don't need to do all this. It's not that big of a deal." I assured Adams that Diggs, sounds like witness intimidation, by the way. I assured Adams that Diggs had not been contacted yet by any members of the Dedham police. Now, in an attempt to fulfill Adams' request to contact Diggs at 10:10 a.m. on 12/20, I contacted Diggs at the number provided. The call went to voicemail. I identified myself and asked for a call back. On 12/22, I tried him a second time, straight to voicemail, left a message. I notified Adams, and she also sent me an email for a woman that handles Diggs' business interests. I have not received a call back by 12/23. I will reach out to her. In the meantime, I received an email and voicemail from Adams. The voicemail expressed interest in going ahead with criminal charges. What? I called her twice at 9:25 on 12/23, and the number went to voicemail. I left a voicemail on the second call. Then the final page. Okay, I have thoughts already. This is the. I spoke with Adams. She changed her mind. I will be applying for a criminal complaint against Diggs based on Adams' statement to me on 12/16. Charged with A and B, strangulation or suffocation. And here's the text message. Okay, so she goes, "You will be paying me out for the season and the money you said you would give me for my business. Wasted my fucking time being here because you got a fucking circus going on. I'm out of your life." Oh, you don't tell, dude. If there's one thing, I haven't read this whole thing yet. Steph Diggs is not going to put up with that shit. Steph Diggs does not, you don't talk to him like that. He does not deal with hoes like this. I won't be paying you shit. Fuck I look like? Paying you and paying another chef? Is you high, bitch? He goes, "Is you high, bitch? Bitch, is you high? Bitch, is you high? You tripping. Tripping hoe. Host long to dying cold. Who the fuck gotta give you money for your business? Fuck your business. I don't gotta do a motherfucking thing. And you can get whoever you want. You got my address. Tell them come take the money. Then fuck you talk about. Show me I'm pussy. Oh, that's brilliant. I love Steph. Okay. I mean, look at the way she talks to him at the beginning. Who does she think she is? "You will be paying me out for the season." Really? Bitch, who are you talking about? Who are you talking to? You're talking to Steph Diggs here. Show some goddamn respect. It's a Hall of Famer. Okay? 1,000 yards. Remember that game against the Saints in the playoffs? That one with the Viking. Remember that game? Show some respect on that. You don't just tell Steph Diggs, you will be paying me out for the season. And the money you said you would be giving him for my business. Excuse me? Is this like one of those PPP loans? What the fuck you talking about? This is not a government buyout. We're not buying you out, bitch. We're not paying for your business. Fuck out of here. You're the cook. Get in there and cook. That's it. You will be paying me out. You don't talk to Steph Diggs like this, okay? You don't. Be a little bit more respectful, okay? Wasted my fucking time. Oh, please. Wasted my fucking time. Being here. He hired a ratchet chef. I don't know anything about this woman. This is ratchet. You don't talk to Steph Diggs like this, period. Steph Diggs does not get spoken to by women like this. Never met the man, but I'm telling you right now, Steph Diggs does not put up with he don't play this. Okay? Wasting my fucking time being here because you got a fucking circus going on. Bitch, you started cooking for Steph Diggs. He's fucking Cardi B. He fucks everyone. That's like Steph Diggs is a circus. That's like what he's known for. He's a womanizer. Like he fucks a lot of bitches. He's like the new Antonio Cromartie. Okay? Gets some bitches pregnant left and right. Cardi B. Fucks Cardi B. Right? Yes, he's literally, you agreed to cook for the circus. And now you're surprised. And then you're telling the circus master, bitch, you will be paying for my business. Bitch, this ain't a PPP loan. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not paying for your business. I won't be paying you shit. Fuck, I look like. Fuck, I love his response. Fuck, I look like. Is you high, bitch? Is you high, bitch? Is you high, bitch? This is just two ratchets fighting. This is great. I love it. Well, one with money and one without. Okay, so I'm immediately team Steph Diggs on this one. I don't know what happened. This sounds like a ratchet ass hoe. I think she, I don't know where he found her. She's not very professional. But it's like, bitch, get back in the kitchen, Go make me some chimichangas. Do something. It's like, don't fuck with the Patriots, lady, okay? This has like Bill's Mafia written all over it. Some shit's going on here. Because I just think of Jabril Peppers again. So let me get this straight. So 3 weeks ago, he just came in your room and choked you for no reason because you wanted money. So he went in there and choked you. You have no evidence of this. You have no marks, nothing. Like, that's crazy that you could just get someone charged with assault and battery with no evidence whatsoever several weeks after the fact. That's crazy. As somebody who's been falsely accused of assault and battery, I found that out the hard way. If someone just says they're assaulted, then you're just arrested. There's no evidence required, nothing. Just somebody's word. I need to start digging. And the timing's interesting because obviously we got the Dolphins this week. We're going to get the 2 or the 1 seed, most likely the 2. And we're going to play the Chargers probably in the first round. And we need Steph Diggs. We can win without Steph Diggs, but definitely use Steph Diggs. And I just don't believe this shit. And she's had like multiple chances. She's like, I don't want to press charges. Then why are you going in for? I don't know. I say free Steph Diggs. I say he's innocent. That's my thoughts right there. So there we go. All right. Let me read some turtle chats, then we'll call it a night. We need, Rosemary Scarpicchio. We got to get her out of. This sounds like a case for her. She got Jack Jones off that gun charge, so hopefully she can get him up too. All right. All right, Mark Crawford, okay, sends $5 and goes, so much for no drama and not drinking on stream. I have done no drama, Mark. Relax. And I'm not drinking. I'm drinking coffee. I drink coffee and water. I hope you beat your case. Otherwise, you know, a pretty boy like you is going to make someone a nice prison wife. Or you're going to be holding someone's pocket guaranteed. Ooh. I mean, you paid $5, so I'll take it. But not today, Satan. I'm not falling for the trap there. I'm not going to prison because I'm not guilty and I'll never be convicted. So fuck off. Next. The hose and the caricatures sends $10, goes, Proctor is still subhuman trash and the McAlberts are still murderers. Long live the turtle. Well, thank you. Linda sends $5, goes, listen, Turtle Daddy, when you hit the drama-free 90-day milestone, I will send you the best quality bottle of Canadian maple syrup in the country. And dear Vagina Mike, have you ever realized, sans that nasty cockroach fur in your face, you look like the white version of Steve Urkel? Really? I don't see it. Peace to your bum crease. Love you, Daddy. I don't see the Urkel. I got to be honest with you. Thank you. Yeah, when I get behind 90 days, we're a long way from that, Linda. So give it time. Jenna sends $10, goes, Turtleboy is a lot, but I can handle every Tuesday and Saturday night. I think he needs to go to Florida and play pickleball with Peter. Take kids. Fun to watch. Okay. Crazy Cat Lady sends $5, goes, can't wait to hear Bederow actually get to speak in court. Oh, he's done it before, but definitely January 23rd should be great. Colleen sends $25 and goes, I've been following you for a while. I'm also from Mass, same age. I grew up a hockey player playing with the boys. I just feel like you remind me of one of my neighborhood buddies from childhood, down to earth, funny, loyal, and passionate. Yeah, I am. And just expecting the same in return. Exactly. I get it. You get me, Colleen. You get me. Cheers to a great 2026 to you and your family. And likewise to yours, Colleen. I hope you have a great one. So, really appreciate the kind words there. I am just a regular guy, you know, just a regular, normal dad, you know, no decorations, no decorated dudes. Do you have any cash apps here? Couple more. Lisa sends $5 and goes, Turtleboy was right. Say a prayer for ND in the hospital. Prayers for ND. Thank you, Lisa. Lori sends $10, goes, Happy New Year. Feel better already. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow. We'll see. Thank you. All right, cool. I think that's about it. All right, guys. Make sure we don't miss any turtle chats. Tonight was a really good show. I really enjoyed tonight's show. It was very positive and it was fun and entertaining. And we got to watch the Megyn Kelly. I mean, it was cool. Feels like old times. And it feels really good, man. It feels really good to be drama free. People thought I was playing. But I'm not. I'm going to be completely drama free. So it hasn't been easy. This has been one of the biggest challenges of my life is, trying not to think about every day all the negativity out there, because guess what? You guys are so positive, and to find people at the Gavel in Wrentham last night, and it's just a great thing. And tomorrow night, really looking forward to the new year, and I'm going to have a good time, probably drink some wine, and enjoy myself a night at home. I don't think I'm going to go out. So we will see you guys all in 2026. All right. You guys have a great new year, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace to your bum crease. Outie, and brush your teeth.
Down Main, it's a clip clear night, screens glowing blue, got the facts in my headlights. Commonwealth tripping, but the truth stay calm. Morrissey and Lally, I'ma read them like Psalms. KP throwing shade from a broke down porch, but the files in my lap like a flame to a torch. I don't raise my voice, I just let the game speak. Steady with the grind while the crooked run weak.
We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks, they can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just ride a slow grind.
Midnight oil burning, pen hit the pad slow. Every word cut clean like the rims on the 6-4. From Boston to Brockton, the whispers all hum. Turtle boys riding in the reckoning gon' come. Lally in the back room, Morrissey on the phone, trying to twist the narrative, but they can't postpone. I'm just sipping on the facts while the city play pretend. Truth got no curfew, I'ma run it to the end. See, this ain't about fame, this about that long game. You can duck, you can weave, but the truth still call your name.
We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks, they can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just riding slow, gliding. We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear